much from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer. With boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know how to find me, darling. Call me. She tell me she had an accident. Said she stick on the highway. What may come some she problems. So she looking to find me. Span traffic jam and hot sun beating her day. Say she out on the road all day. So when I reach her, she tell me, what you waiting for? Like you ain't sure. Jack up the thing like so. And if you see how I put the pressure when I turn it, as she walking on the road again. Fix it up, mechanic. She tell me do quick, I can't be late. You know the boss like to complain, so I put down the work with confidence. But she watching the timing, for sure no man done call the record. Hey, but it's traffic jam, traffic bumper to bumper. Oh, so I raise her hood and clean this back plug. Put in the oil, got the engine buck. Check on performance, charging it up. I see she revving, but it not functioning. The crowd got her wrong, this big jam straight to tongue, yeah. Say she's sweat on the road all day. So don't you turn on, she tell me, what you waiting for? Taking too long, put her back on the floor, cause she want me apply the pressure when I turn it. Get you walking on the road again. Fix it up, mechanic. Come fix it up. Your name mechanic, fix it up. She want me fix it up. Try not give it up. I go fix it up. On the road I'll fix it up, darling. I'll bring up that trunk, I'll bend the fender. Put key and check the starter. Drain the hose and change the filter. Put in the cool and things real hot. And it's traffic jam, traffic bumper to bumper. Boy, look it calling now, so just come with it. I taking it, he pay for it. What you waiting for? Tighten some more. Come and lock the front door. Hey. And if you see her walking, she pressure when I turn it in. Have she walking on the road, on the road, on the road again? She want me fix it up. Yes, mechanic, fix it up. How want you fix it up. Try now, give it up. Let me fix it up. On the road, I'll fix it up, darling. Tell me worry yourself now.
Wake up, rise up. It's the NETT Radio Breakfast Show, bringing you the energy, music, and vibes to start your day right.
Oh, yes, indeed. Let's make sure we start your day okay. Fix it up. Try to fix it up. Try to get up. What you doing sleep in this hour? Get up, wake up. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning to Tobago. Oh my gosh, I'm missing you guys. Good morning to our neighbors in the Caribbean, our friends who are streaming all around the globe on the www. Yeah, good to have you here. Just in case you're wondering where here is, well, it is New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean, and we are taking you above and beyond. Streaming, beaming, coming to you from the beautiful, gorgeous Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We want to say much thanks, Heavenly Father, for bringing us together for another day. And all that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing on to you. Sir Charles, that is me. Happy am I to be in this space with you as I welcome everybody to the Tuesday edition of your Get Up and Go. This is your breakfast show.
Get up, it's the time to start the day. The breakfast show is here, we bring in the soca way.
Yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Yeah, grab your doubles, grab your morning drink, whatever is that they have, and grab it quickly and get yourself in position because the breakfast show is here. Good morning, everybody, and of course to my co-host, Richard, who I'm sure will join us at some point in time, and of course Wendell Stephen, who is here very early as always shows up on time. So Stevens, good day to you.
Morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And good morning, listeners and viewers all over the globe, especially those out there. Good evening to the listeners in Japan. And good afternoon to the listeners in Ethiopia. All right. Special good morning to listeners all other parts of the globe. Thanks for joining us every single morning religiously. As you get up and say your morning prayer, you have your morning coffee, or whatever you do at this point in time to ensure that you're part of this show. Thank you so much for joining us. Right?
Yeah, it's good to be getting up. And you were, when you was going to school, you didn't used to be like late for school and thing.
No. I remember I told you I went to school literally between 5 and 10 minutes away from where I lived. Mm-hmm. I was born on Western Main Road, grew up there. I went to primary school from there, which is St. Agnes School, which is just up the main road and down Clarence Street. And then when we moved briefly to when I was in secondary school now, we were living I was already on Lockport Street. But there was a period I was up by my grandmother, which was right on Planker Street in St. James, literally opposite the school that I attended, St. James Secondary School. So it was, and then when we moved to Lockport Street, it was about the same distances. It really was between 5 and 10 minutes walk every day. So I was never late for school, and I was never late getting home. Importantly.
Yeah, but you know why is that? Because like you're always on time, which is something I really like, you know. But I myself, because I know people who were living opposite where I went to school and was late for school, you know. I know people like that, you know, when I was going around and stuff. I know people, sometimes I'm living in Barataria and I was walking to school, you know. I would walk all through El Socorro, all the shortcut pass by the water tanks and Glen Lane and go up to school, you know. And I would always be early for school, you know. I never liked being late. And and my brothers who in Barataria went to school in Barataria, would you believe that on an afternoon when I am finished and I'm coming home from school, I used to reach home before them. My mother used to want to blaze the tail because how he coming from so far over the school over in the same time he reaching home and all. But I used to do it for spite.
Now, so Charles, it's been a habit of mine for all the years I was at Power 102. I used to actually be parked up outside waiting for them to start for the prayer and like what we do here, and then walking inside. Or sometimes I'd go in earlier and go and sit up in the tea room with my newspapers.
Right.
Maybe have an early morning cup of coffee. But I've never been late. Even going to date with girlfriends, I used to go and park up outside the house for like 15 minutes before, and then go and knock on the door. At the time we agreed to meet. I've always been on time. City Hall, I used to be like the first in meeting sometimes. Almost every time we have a meeting, I used to be, if not the first, the second or third, somewhere there.
Right. You always
Yeah.
I remember that too. Because even when I was actually, you're right, when I was at 102, especially on a Saturday mornings, I would be the first shift. So I have to be there at 6 o'clock to play the anthem and stuff. And even if I'm leaving here to go down the road and make sure I leave early, so I get down the road early. And if like I have, like I do an event like the Friday night, if I do a boat ride or a party or something, and if I will look at the time and I say 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I say that I ain't going home now. I pull up right in the back. I lie down and I sleep there because I don't want to be late.
Yeah, no, I don't like being late. If I'm late, I'm always late with an excuse. And sometimes I'm on my way to something and I call because I'm averaging the time. I said, listen, guys, I might be running a little late. But actually, I reach like before they even started. But because I'm so conscious of not reaching late and not reaching late without an excuse. If I'm late, I'm fashionably late. I'm deliberately late. I'm waiting to hear. Let me hear what they're gonna say first before jumping. You know, sometimes I do that. I've rarely ever done that, but I used to do that a lot sometimes with well, I'm gonna call it certain co-hosts.
Well, you know that can be this. Yeah. Really and sure, you know, I don't like to be late for stuff and things. I didn't like being late for work, late for school. If I have to go anywhere, I try to make sure I'm there early. You know, so anybody this morning, if you all are supposed to be at work, let us say for 6 o'clock, or it's still home, or they're really late.
Yeah, or they're late.
Or they're really late, you know. So get a move on and try and be early. It's a good practice.
Yeah. I'll tell you a little experience about myself and my ex-wife. She is oh Lord, she tardy with lateness.
Yes.
So much so, we used to be going functions and we used to drive separate cars because I don't want to be late. I am a member of the city council. I'm not being late for a city council function.
Right.
So we used to drive 2 cars to the function.
Right.
You understand? Yeah. Because she was always late. And before my blood pressure go up and I quarrel too much, I used to say, listen, meet me there. I ain't meeting no longer because I mean, literally driving from Arima to Port of Spain function, eh? You understand? So I had to time that drive. I had to make sure that drive, I give 45 minutes to that drive, which is extra. But because I don't want to be late, I'll give enough time so that I'll be early, relax.
Yeah.
I'd rather park up outside City Hall waiting for them than be running in there after the meeting, after something, the function don't start.
I know that individual. He was a custom officer, always late for everything, and not no small late, 2 hours late and all that kind of thing, when you have to take like his family out and thing. They are waiting. Sometimes, like I remember a time they were going to the beach. And he come almost when it's night time to carry them. They all leave there, they waiting to go to the beach, so when he died, for some reason, they brought him late to the funeral and all.
So Charles, my wife, ex-wife, and I missed our honeymoon flight because of her being late. Well, of course, you ain't quarreling then.
Right.
But we had to get a later flight in the day because we were going to, where we went? Aruba. So we had to take like different flights to get there. We were late for that. A plane had to be held back for us one time in London.
Wow.
And I was going mad.
Yeah.
No, I can't take anything. I can't take it. Crazy.
Try to be on time.
Yeah. No, I'm one of those going and sit down in an airport 3 to 2 hours before the flight. I'm never one of those who rush in last minute because not too long ago they had to be holding back. They had to come looking for a lady on the plane. She was not on the plane, and naturally, if you're not on the board, your luggage on the plane. So they just had to delay everybody by taking off your luggage. Eventually, the lady showed up. We had to be just waiting. That never happened to you? I don't know if that. I'm sure that happened to some people who listen.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Waiting on somebody on the tarmac.
Yeah,
But I was that person once, and I said never again.
Yeah, I remember even on a cruise. I was on a cruise, and you had to wait for some people to come back.
Oh God, cruises. You always seen somebody scampering, running towards that boat.
We were in Margarita and tried to come back and waiting for these people, and people running late. The boat had the thing. I don't know.
No. I hope. Well, I hope I never have to suffer that kind of thing with anyone again. I'm too nervous. I get too jumpy when I'm running late and things like that. It disturbs my entire equilibrium.
Yeah, it's not a good practice. So
no.
If you are a habitual late person, let's try and get a move on and stuff.
Yeah, time management is so important in any aspect of your life, actually.
Yeah.
In any aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Time
I saw a clip in a time that said to be early is what did I say, boy? To be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late. Meaning try and get there 5 minutes before whatever time you're supposed to be. Right? Because if the meeting is supposed to start at 6 o'clock and you now coming in at 6 o'clock, you're not early. You're late.
You're late.
Yeah.
So
but we are here this morning and we are early. So what do you have? Birthday greetings before we go?
I actually have a couple birthday greetings. Today is May 20th?
19th.
No, today is May 19th?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very strange. Yesterday I logged on to something and they had the date as May 19th. I logged on to a particular thing, checking something, and the date was May 19th. That's very strange.
Okay.
So I thought today was the 20th. Anyway, Ali Berry. Today is Ali Berry's birthday. Ali is well known we interviewed Ali some years ago when she remember there was an issue over dress code into public buildings, in government buildings.
Right.
And I think she went into one and they said she wasn't appropriately dressed. And she went out the road and I think she put she put on something.
I think she went and get something and wrap around her or something.
Yeah. And it had gone viral. And we interviewed her. She's a regular person on another radio station. I know I hear her all the time. But we had called her because she used to listen to us too on the other station. And we interviewed her about that. Today is her birthday. I think she's a caterer. Morning, Ali, and have an absolutely wonderful day. She's a sociality, what do you call this? She liked the party, and Lisa Edwards. And of course, this is another feature that Facebook has not fixed as yet. People who would have passed away, and their accounts are still on Facebook. I don't know if Facebook has never been able to fix that. So today would have been the birthday of former Councillor Daryl Rajpur.
Yeah. I don't know if there's ever probably even get any kind of notifications to know if that person is not there anymore or not.
Yeah, I know some people post under their relatives who have passed still, you know. Some family members post still under their names, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, Carol, that's what she bought a curtain and wrapped herself. And it went viral. Ali's a riot whenever you meet her, you know. She's a very nice person. She had bought a curtain, yes, that's what she did. I see a fella the other day to put on 2 envelopes on his feet because he had on short pants. He put on 2 big brown envelopes to cover his legs.
Yeah. Well, let me send out birthday greetings to Maria Cellier. I think that's one of our listeners that you see regularly. Maria is celebrating her birthday today. So Maria, Keith would like to wish you a happy birthday. And we also want to wish you a happy birthday. I think that's the only birthday I have today. You know, I don't have anybody else.
You sure it's May 19th?
Huh?
Well, yes. I had to go back into that.
Yes, I'm not sure if it's 19th.
I was watching the app yesterday and they had May 19th as the date for something already.
Maybe I don't know what's going on. But all right, so that is birthday, so we can get into good news now.
Yeah, man.
All right, let's get into good news.
So this is Anguilla. It's small, 15,000 people, a little bit larger than the island of Manhattan. But in recent years, they've hit the absolute jackpot because of AI. You might be asking yourself, did they cover the island in data centers? Did they invest in NVIDIA? No, they're getting rich because they own the .ai domain name. Now, in 1995, every country got assigned a 2-letter domain name. UK got .uk, Australia got .au, and Anguilla got .ai. In the last few years, there's been an explosion in people registering .ai domain names. There's 1.1 million .ai domain names in existence, and 1 million of them have been created since 2023. Now, every time one of these domain names gets registered, they pay a $140 fee for a 2-year, and these recur year after year. And this is real money. About half of the revenue that Anguilla made last year came from domain registrations, and it's only growing from there. In February, they made $12 million off .ai. To put that in perspective, the country's 2026 budget only has $147 million in day-to-day government expenses for the entire 2026 fiscal year. In other words, so many people are making AI websites that they're funding the entire budget of a small Caribbean country.
All right, that's interesting. Yeah. Anguilla with .ai.
Yeah, Anguilla.ai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Anybody have a Trinidad
.ti or .tt? I'm sure that
we have .tt. I know government has
.gov.tt.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But I think his play is on the letters AI, because everybody using AI now. But I'm told that traffic is already backing up down in Cookeritt again. I know that the mayor put out a release last night talking about that traffic, because police apparently went yesterday and shared tickets like they're going crazy, because people were parked up on the left side of the highway, I guess going to the hospital, and there's no shoulder down there. Folks, if you know down Cookeritt, that area, there's no shoulder on that highway. If you're parking on the highway, you're parking in a lane. And apparently that is what caused the chaos, that contributed to the chaos yesterday. And police, of course, found the best way to deal with that. And the only way that the TTPS loves to serve people and protect them with pride, and what's the other one? Protect them with pride,
protect
is to go and share tickets, not to go and get the situation moving, because the traffic wardens up on Western Main Road, about 6 or 8 of them every morning, they could have go down Cookeritt and just say, listen, folks, you can't park here, move it along, go to Westmall car park, go to Cookeritt Government School car park, it have so many different areas down there that you probably could make arrangements for to park and come across to the hospital, or just let the person drop you off. Because I don't think the people who doing the cataracts driving it, I don't know, maybe they are.
If it's one eye, you can probably drive with the other one.
Well, yeah, I guess so. So maybe some of the people who go into for the operation, who parking up and leaving the car, and when they come back, they get an ice ticket. You understand? But that happened yesterday.
Yeah, but most of them will probably most likely be carrying people too. I think so. Because even though once you are basically going and you tell yourself you might stand a chance of getting a surgery done, you would probably not want to drive yourself home.
Yeah, but people apparently still drove themselves and took a chance parking up, because maybe the first man do it and then everybody say, hey, they could park here, and followed suit. You understand? You know, we Trinidadians do it. We all do it. You understand? And they go, and when they come back, they found themselves with a $1,000 ticket. So all you don't go and park up on the highway, please. It's against the law. Find somewhere to park and then get to the hospital. All right? Because what you're doing is contributing to the chaos that's down there, and you're just contributing to the ignorance of some of our authorities, right?
But we had us give you a ticket without you being there. You had to be there to collect the ticket.
I guess when you come back.
When you come back, because
we're waiting on you.
Wait for you to come back.
But apparently that happened yesterday. I don't know how
they could be a little more proactive. The police could get out there early and maneuver the traffic.
And
come on.
And
you could do something. You could do something there, man.
And if the TTPS, which is literally 5 minutes up the road, the St. James Police Station, or the West End Police Station, can't do it, then the borough police could go on and say, Diego Martin have borough police, Port of Spain have city police, because it borders both places. It borders Diego Martin and Port of Spain. Well, they go out and try to assist, because people are desperate, clearly, and they're going to take those chances, which they have been doing.
Yeah, but they would not have been really expected to, to be charged for that kind of situation, I think. So.
Well, I mean, it's a lot less than the cataract operation, but you still don't want to have to pay that.
Yeah, you still don't want to pay that $1,000 ticket, The police of themselves too. You see, the police not proactive in this country. They're very reactive to everything. The police is always after the fact. They themselves cannot realize, okay, well, so and so is happening. If you see and you are seeing something happening, you could be there before that kind of build-up takes place. But they're not there. Somebody must have to wait until it reached real bad, then to call the police. Because they might have been able to go if they were there earlier and assist persons. It may have been able to allow a certain amount of people to park before it reaches to that bottleneck, So as others move up, you could probably bring in others. But I tell you, they're reactive, very reactive.
Sadly.
I saw some comments from people heartless too, you know. They are really haters outside here, you know.
If it have haters again,
Really haters, boy, you know.
these are one on this chat here sometimes.
Oh, right. Why, yeah, not easy. Anyhow, let's greet the people in these 3 windows. Already
Yes. And if I call an H after your name, you might be a hater. No, I won't do that. I promise. I won't do that.
I'm begging for all of them. Please.
I won't do that. But there are people who, I swear, if they've never been in a situation, they will never know what it feels like. You know? Say what? Eunice Dublin says, good morning. Ava Smith, Grand Rising when... Sorry?
No, sir, good morning to you. That's Dublin. She was inside the first.
Yeah, she's generally first, you know. Ava Smith, Grand Blessed Rising to Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles. Anthony Tinto is locked on and saying happy birthday to my cousin Maria Marva. All right, have a great day. I think she's also in the chat. Kenny in Harlem, Odell Guy from Sangre Grande. Trinman says pleasant Tuesday. Robert Allen says good morning. Apollonius, Diane Payne, Erica Charles, Manuela Peters, Victor Phillip is in early this morning. I'm not sure what he's referring to here. Chief, okay. Boy Bidesi from Debe, Margaret Thomas, Carol Guevara, Sis Super says, God, you're great. You do miracles so great. There is no one else. There's some miracles I swear God is not involving himself in, and that is changing people. He is not involving himself in that. Pamela O'Connor, blessed morning to the team and all in the chat. Ingrid from Tucson, my apologies, Arizona.
Morning, Ingrid.
Marlon Motley from North Val saying platinum gold, top of the morning. Michael Cadet, Joyce Phillip. Kathy Ann Charles says good special morning to Arlene and Stephen. Pamela Grimshaw, manager, that's Norris Ferguson up early this morning. Robert Taylor, Sherwin and Juliet Kerr, Alistair Hart, Gavin Frank, Philomena Ali, Debbie Modeste, Trini Merle Kitchen from Oshawa, Ontario, Chris Toussaint. DC has a teen curfew that is not working, so they are now talking about charging the parents when kids get in trouble. Oh, a teen curfew. Someone hearing that. Carla Hercules, good morning. Mrs. R says good morning. Bernadette and Melissa Yates, Prabha Ramdial, Wayne Ramsey out there in Fort Lauderdale. Andrea John, Arlene Lewis, Valerie Mendoza, Kurt Hope from Nashville, Tennessee. Dean Allen, Sir Charles, I feel you're playing a dig on Richard. We know Richard record.
Well, if that is the case, well, you see for yourself.
Richard, I don't think Richard has been late for his plays. If you know Richard has never had a play that has started late.
Nah, play start on time.
All years, dead. If the play is 8:30, at 8:30 on the dot, that play will start. Regardless of who's sitting in that theater. So Richard is very early when he's ready. Play this way. Mrs. R said I'm always fashionably late. Nadia Stephen, good morning.
I like that you put it fashionably late.
Yeah, fashionably late. I know I want to say something in it, but I'll leave you this morning. David McCarthy, top of the day and a terrific Tuesday, and all salutations to the dynamic duo / terrific trio. And you know, he only had to be putting that because one has been late. He had to put dynamic duo and terrific trio. Morning, David.
Well, depends on what time of the date is.
Yeah, according to what time of the date is. So he cover everything with one greeting. Julia Samantha says, good morning, Victor Philip. I will leave you in the house and go. Victor, that's exactly what I used to do, boy. Sometimes they had to be escorting my wife into the function half hour later. Mrs. R, that's really commendable. Victor Philip, that is a disrespect. Some people can't help it, you know. Alistair Hart says, God gave you signs, Wendell. You didn't see that. Sankofa say, look how Richard caused an entire start on him. Let me see. Dean Allen, a friend gave their friends the wrong time so they would show up on time. They found out. You know, I do that sometimes.
People actually do
I
that.
actually tell people come for 5:30 when I really want them there for 6:30.
Yeah.
True, because you know some people.
Yeah. We do that now with a lot of the boat rides. If you're supposed to board in 3 and sail in 4, now we board in 2.
Yeah.
And some people still come in 4 o'clock.
Yeah, boy. Last time I went on a boat ride with Guylaine, and then they had to be waiting on people.
Yeah, regardless how much time you give them, it always have somebody who in some traffic jam, especially going down in the west.
Yeah.
Somebody late or something.
Yeah, you had to cater for them traffic jams already. Yeah. You know. Slick Money Grip says, good morning. Carol Gavawa, she bought a curtain. Yes. Michael Robinson, good evening from Yokohama, Japan. A lot of rechatters here. Let me see. Alistair Hart is saying Anguilla is a beautiful place to visit. Never been. I never even been to St. Vincent, and that is where my maternal grandparents from. Sankofa said that happened to me once, and the pilot asking if anyone connected to the person. Ashamed and angry. After about his third call, I had to put up my hand. The pilot tried to wait, but eventually had to pull off from the gate. He said it was not up to him, but the control tower instructions. Yeah, those things are not nice. It's not a nice experience. Okay, let me get some new people in here. Mrs. Aaron, Victor going at it. Rena Jennings, the Forward Police Station is a stone's throw away from Cookery. So true also. I forgot. I went all the way down to Western and Forward's right there. Thanks, Rena. Robert Allen, Sir Charles, there's no right way to do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to park there. No, there's nowhere. And the hospital have very limited parking spaces. So you have to find somewhere to park and come back. You know what I mean? Either that or, I don't know. Maybe the police could
There's always adaptation.
Yeah. The police always looking for low-hanging fruit. So true. All right, let me get some new people. Melchizedek, good morning. Nicola Nichols, good morning, gentlemen and everyone. Best of luck to the boys and girls that are participating in the National Primary Schools Netball League quarterfinals today. Where is that being held? At Nelson Mandela Park? More than likely. Andre Reno says he's locked on. Yeah. This is a lot of stuff about the hospital now. Hillbench, good morning, Wendell, Richard, and Sir Charles on the Breakfast Crew. Keith Clark, good morning to the Breakfast Crew. Happy birthday to Maria Celia. So is that Maria Marva? Same person, I guess. Ron DeSantis Jr., good morning from Florida, where you'll soon have another great governor and first black governor, Byron Donalds. All right. David McCarthy says, I love you guys. We love you too, David. And your brother Russell. Margarita Chow, good morning. And Subash from Woodland. So those are all the greetings on the chat this morning.
So let me say good morning to the folks on the WhatsApp very quickly. So Kent in Lavatil was in very early. Foxy, you're in this morning, girl. Nice to have you. Of course, Ingrid is here also very early. Captain Ron in Orlando. Zena and the Powder Puff ladies, good morning to you all. Frank in Aruca. Judith in Mount St. George in Tobago. Tobago, boy. Mahi out there in, where's Mahi again today? She is in New Jersey. All right, so good morning to you, Mahi. To Fifi out there in Addis Ababa. Archbishop Ashton Clark in Canada. Peter Wilson, St. James people we're talking about. Rena Budul Jennings, you are here also. Carlin and Kelly out in Carenage. Mr. Beeps coming out of Pity Valley, Mr. Billy, Mr. Patrick Billy, Powder Magazine people, and of course, Pauline, who is up very early with us this morning. All right, so just before we go to the break, let's say good morning to Richard.
Hi, good morning, guys, and good morning to our listeners and viewers, wherever you are.
Hi, Richard, welcome.
On this wonderful Tuesday morning.
Yeah, we now have the dynamic trio.
Yeah.
The terrific trio. We had the dynamic duo all the time.
Dynamic duo.
And we now have the terrific trio.
That's how
I couldn't find out where you were in that stream of calling out people's names, so I just said leave it.
Yeah, I realized that. Because normally you do it in the background.
I was scrolling up and down and saying, where the hell is he? And I said, oh, I'd leave it.
You know why? Because they had so many rechatters. I had to sift through it. You understand?
I don't know. You're saying chatting, people chatting, and then you say, okay, look, somebody new.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, Richard. It's such a pleasure to have you on the morning show.
Yeah, my apologies this morning.
Richard, were you ever?
You don't have to apologize, Richard.
Richard, were you ever late for school?
Never.
Okay.
And he traveled from Arima to Port of Spain for school, eh? By bus, eh?
I know, but you know, the thing about this, the further away you live, the earlier you generally are. So for a lot of Arimians, we were at school by, 6:30, 7:15, way before all the West boys. So you were always at school very early because you were always trying to beat the traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're never late at a play. You've never had a play that started late. At least not in my memory.
You had plays that started late for different reasons.
Your play? A play that you in?
Yeah. For there may be, not recently, but a technical thing happened and you have to fix it. And sometimes technical thing involved technical people being on set. Something went wrong just before you open up the house, or usually it's just before you open up the house. And so therefore there are a flood of people on stage trying to fix the problem. Technical people. And you open the house later. And when you open the house later, generally you start a little later because people are now still filtering in. Especially if you have a big crowd. But sometimes we delay the play by 5. But for this play, sometimes we've had to delay the play by 5 minutes, not because of us, but because there is so much people trying to enter, and sometimes the parking is far away. Like if you're in Central Bank, sometimes the parking is a bit, and then Central Bank you have to go through security checks.
Yes.
So sometimes there's a line waiting to come in to go through those security checks, because security checks are never quick.
No.
You always have to go through, and there's one security check. So because we know there's a lot of people outside in a line waiting, sometimes we delay by 5 minutes. But we will tell the people in the auditorium, in the theater itself, that we're delaying it just by 5 minutes to allow some of the patrons that are outside to get in to enter. We wouldn't just leave you sitting on there for 5 minutes. No.
Yeah.
But generally we would start on time. No.
All right, great. All right, so
I'm sorry, excuse me until this website launch.
So you all take back all that criticism you all gave to Richard. Please, he is not a late person.
No.
Take it back.
That's habitual, very habitual, like Mrs. Al. Anyhow, we are going for that break. Stay with us. We will be back shortly. So 17 minutes before 7 o'clock. We're really late.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box. It's the Grand Clearance Sale at Fats International Styles. Everything must go. All clothing, only $100. Sneakers, just $200. Yes, you heard right. Massive deals, unbeatable prices while stocks last. Visit Fats International Styles Arima opposite Castro's restaurant. Don't miss your chance to grab the hottest styles at crazy clearance prices. Hurry in today because once it's gone, it's gone.
St. Teresa Preschool presents their fundraising boat ride, Dancing Under the Moonlight, on Saturday, the 23rd of May, 2026. It's a collaboration of colors on board the Island Royalty. Bring your own coolers. Boarding time, 11 p.m. Sailing, 12 midnight. Music by
DJ Chaotic from Sweet 100 FM. Kryptonite Sounds with Mr. Flavor of Net Radio TT. Dress code elegantly casual. Gorgeous ladies wear blue. Handsome gentlemen wear pink. Admission, early bird tickets $200, regular $250. No oversized cooler. For more information, call 375-6527-719-3379. Dancing under the moonlight aboard the Island Royalty.
Scandal in
Cipriani College, we're back. The box office smash Scandal in Citrus is back. We're back because you demanded it for 3 nights only. Friday the 29th and Saturday the 30th of May at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 31st at 6:30 p.m. Tickets available now at usual outlets and online. Scandal in Citrus, we are back at Cipriani College. See it again or see it for the first time. Don't miss it.
Scandal in Citrus.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
All right. A story broke last night on the news that kind of blew me away because, I mean, we would have just had a recent experience by immigration downtown. But apparently there's a probe taking place, citizenship for sale. A corruption racket has been uncovered at immigration in Port of Spain that people were paying $1,000 to some employee who would have been setting up the appointments for them, and they were going straight up to the 3rd floor and getting their passports done. So it's been happening over the last several months, they said, and maybe a few employees are involved. So that was one of the news stories that broke last night. Venezuela wants oil spill compensation from Trinidad and Tobago. That is another set of bacchanal, yeah?
Venezuela, we have no money.
Yeah, okay. That is not a good article. That is not a good story coming out of Venezuela against Trinidad and Tobago again.
Mr. Rodriguez, we have no money.
All to play for, that's cricket. Jaden Seals returned to haunt Guyana. Simeon Road walks away with $120 EWFCL. And some other news, of course. Massive traffic pileup as hundreds seek free eye surgery. Cops bust secret gambling den in Derby. You know, I laugh at this. I laughed at this story yesterday.
I was hoping
21 men.
I didn't hear somebody named Cole. I said, what?
21 men held in some room in Derby gambling by the police. Okay. How long has that been going on? Who didn't do what? Who didn't? Anyway. Fundraiser,
Who snitch?
Fundraiser for Aileen Oscarby. Oh, Oscarby is Aileen?
Oscar is sick, eh? He is very sick. I think he's in Sandy Grande Hospital. He had a stroke, I think. And a couple of years ago, his wife had a stroke. And so, they have this fundraiser and stuff going on for him. So, we'll tell you more about this as we go along. But yeah.
Neighbors shoot man during row. Staggering man killed on highway. And there's a breaking story about a widower who has filed a lawsuit against the state. He claims his wife was paralyzed from the COVID-19 vaccine, and he has filed a lawsuit against the state. All right, a 26-year-old waitress who developed paralysis days after receiving a Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine later died, has become the subject of a High Court lawsuit against the state and the NCRHA. That will be very interesting to see how that goes. All right, so those are some of the trending stories in today's Express.
All right, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning. Praying for a miracle as residents gather for candlelight vigil. 6 suspects held. Cops returned to Goodwood home of toddler searching for clues. Day 8 of the Angelo search. So that's an ongoing story that's, incredulous. I think Trinidadians and Tobagonians are like, what? What the hell is going on with this young boy and what happened? But it's going on and it's now day 8. UNC demands Roberts' resignation following defection to PNM. Venezuela minister wants compensation from Trinidad and Tobago for oil spill. Political spat over John Bates' fate continues. Bubbles and benevolence mark start of one's 2026 event. In business news, Whitco first quarter profit drops 5.2%. And Brighton first quarter profit falls to US $67,000. Analysts, plural, question NGC's transparency on Moody's withdrawal. Jamaica offers to help Tobago on jet ski issue. I think I read that yesterday. And economists, climate change, a stress multiplier for regional businesses. So, of course, Moody's would have withdrawn their assessment of NGC because they said it didn't have enough information, which, of course, casts a questioning shadow over NGC and what were they providing to Moody or not providing to Moody. So the analysts are asking, I think the analysts are querying that. That's a story kind of in the background, but right there, that's continuing too. Complaint over 2 judges' misconduct. This is also trending.
What?
I don't know what that is about. British national held after $6 million marijuana seizure at Piarco, and new board appointed to the Legal Aid and Advisory Authority. All of that is in the trending news. And in sport, Green and Prince take national titles. And why is that the only sports article I'm getting? That's the only one I seem to be getting. Wait. Wallace Philip double up in Chile again. Simeon Road cops 120,000 East-West title. A review of the role and function of Sport TT is an urgent priority. So all of this is some news in the Guardian, at least with regard to regular news, business, and sports. So now you know.
And now you know, so let's get into our Did You Know?
Did you know the Caribbean once tried to become a single country? Not just culturally, but politically, with one government meant to unite multiple islands under a shared future. For a brief but ambitious moment, Caribbean leaders believed regional unity could transform their global standing. That experiment was called the West Indies Federation, and its legacy still shapes the region today. The West Indies Federation was officially formed in 1958 as Britain prepared several Caribbean territories for self-governance. The vision was bold: unite islands like Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, and others into a federal nation strong enough to compete economically and politically on the world stage. Supporters believed unity would pool resources, strengthen diplomacy, and accelerate development. But unity came with challenges. Economic disparities created tension, larger territories questioned financial responsibility, smaller islands worried about losing political voice. There were also debates about where power should sit, locally or federally, and how identity would be shared among diverse island cultures. When Jamaica voted to withdraw in 1961, the foundation weakened dramatically. By 1962, the federation dissolved. Yet its influence didn't disappear. The dream of Caribbean collaboration continued through trade alliances, regional institutions, and shared diplomacy, proving that while the structure failed, the idea of unity endured. Today, discussions about Caribbean cooperation still echo the Federation's original vision: strength through collective action. The West Indies Federation was short-lived, but its ambition reshaped how the Caribbean thinks about unity. Sometimes history's greatest lessons come from bold experiments, even the ones that didn't last. If you didn't know, now you know. For more great content, listen to New Era TT Radio, follow us on social media, leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
All right. Of course, we are opening the lines. We do have a guest in the next hour. Attorney-at-Law Om Lalla will be our guest in the next hour. Just touching on some issues that, well, we have so many issues going on now.
The judiciary.
Yeah. But Richard read a story, something about the judiciary. I didn't quite get it. A headline he read about the judiciary. I'm not sure what it indicates, but maybe when he can come back and he could just touch on it a bit, or maybe we'll touch on it when Om Lalla is on the show.
It was something with the judges. I wasn't sure about it because I just saw the story, but I didn't read it. So I'll try and see if I can locate it again and then tell you what is it.
No problem. Of course, we are going to do a poll on that issuing of tickets that people got yesterday for parking down on the highway to get there, to go to the Seventh-day Adventist Hospital. As I said, I know that the mayor of Diego Martin had issued a statement last night concerning that situation where she was trying to assist. And I don't know what was the end result of it. I actually was supposed to message her, but it was so late when I saw the story, but we're gonna poll that today, because apparently there's a traffic buildup again in the area. They are trying to achieve, based on what I heard yesterday, to do 4,000 cataract surgeries between May 14th and the 26th, I think. They've only done just over 1,000 thus far because it started off very slow. Of course, it has picked up. Yeah, someone who actually went was given an idea of how it was taking place. Is a doctor really just attending to as many people as he could right there, like just turning around his chair and attending to people. It was an amazing story. But Hans,
when they're doing it, they get it done. And then somebody was actually going to get it done this morning also.
Right.
So they had one day that they went, so they stayed in the line. Second day, yesterday was the measure, and today is to get it done.
Right. And then I think you go back for a follow-up where they actually give you eye drops and sunglasses and another type of glasses too. You're getting all of this free, people. I saw somebody put somewhere in one of the chats yesterday I was reading about they paid $500. Based on all that I've heard and read so far, it is absolutely
You're paying
free.
Nothing.
If anybody tell you have to pay, that is not true.
Yeah, call the police.
Call the police.
Yeah.
It might be the immigration person down there too.
Or HDC person. Immigration or HDC.
Or HDC.
Two judges issued something with regard to a writ that somebody would have filed. That's what I'm seeing. A High Court judge, I'll just read it like the first two paragraphs, you get a sense of it. A High Court judge has granted leave to challenge the Judicial and Legal Services Commission over its prolonged silence and failure to make a decision on a renewed complaint of judicial misconduct against two High Court judges. Justice Westmin James ruled last Tuesday that the applicant had established an arguable case with a realistic prospect of success. The application was brought by Ronald Clive Roberts, acting as a litigant in person and as the next friend to his son Isaiah Jabari Emmanuel Roberts, who was born with cerebral palsy following medical negligence in 2006. The legal battle stemming from that negligence has spanned over more than a decade. Was that a surprise?
No.
That is a
The application challenges the JLSC's ongoing failure to reach a decision regarding a formal complaint submitted by Roberts. He initially complained to the JLSC on July 23, 2019. In October 2024, the JLSC responded to a Freedom of Information request, stating the matter fell outside its remit and no investigation had been undertaken. However, on August 18, 2025, Roberts submitted a renewed complaint pointing to the March 2025 Privy Council judgment in Marcia Caesar versus JLSC as proof that the Commission's claim that it lacked jurisdiction over High Court judges was legally unsustainable. Okay. Following a formal acknowledgement on August 26, 2025, the JLSC remained silent even after Roberts issued a pre-action protocol letter on October 17, 2025. The JLSC objected to the grant of leave, advancing three principal arguments. It had already made and communicated the decision that the complaint fell outside its remit. Roberts waived his right to object to one of the judges because he knew of a personal friendship between the judge and defense counsel in May 2014, but did not object until March 2015. The application filed on December 1st, 2025 was outside the 3-month statutory period for judicial review. Roberts argued that the JLSC's claim that it lacked jurisdiction over High Court judges under Section 137 of the Constitution was plainly wrong in law and legally unsustainable. He also contended that the Commission's silence and failure to provide reasons for not investigating what he described as a prima facie case of serious misconduct was irrational. In his judgment, Justin James noted that the threshold for granting leave is low. He said administrative silence can be reviewable and that the JLSC had not provided any evidence explaining the absence of a response or clarifying whether the matter remained under active consideration. The article goes on, but that gives you a sense.
Wow. A whole lot going on there. But let's see if we can get
policy cases. It's often due a lot of times to some level of medical negligence.
Medical negligence, yes.
In not realizing something has happened or is happening to the child.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the process of how they got the child out.
Yeah.
And I know they're very active litigation with regard to cerebral palsy in North America. In Trinidad, not so much. People just live with it and struggle with it. And governments don't deal with it and understand that the state had some part to play in it generally, because a lot of people that's in the public sector, they would have had their children. And so the cerebral palsy is not just exclusively a problem that the parents had. Sometimes it is because of medical negligence. And a lot of times it is.
Hold right there, Richard. Hold right there. Let's see if we can get this call before because we're already running well into the news.
Well over 7, right?
Yeah. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, no problem. Morning, gentlemen. I'll be quick, right? What happened yesterday with that traffic didn't surprise me because on Sunday I was going down there and I say, I hope that tomorrow all these cars will not be parked there and so on, and then proactivity would have taken care of that. You understand? So I wasn't surprised, but again, like I say, if people just take a little time to be proactive and do what they need to do, that could have been avoided. But I'm not surprised that would happen. But I know you had to go with the news, so I'll call back and take care, John.
No problem. Take care. We'll try to get some calls in between when we do, either before we interview Om or after. But our poll is up. Do you support the TTPS issuing traffic tickets to drivers while they are seeking medical attention at the SDA hospital? If you vote in yes, if you support it, yes, vote 1. And if you do not support it, vote 2. All right? That's no. All right? Yes, 1, 2, no. All right? So that's our poll this morning. When we come back, we will give you the results. And of course, try to get a few calls in also before we go to Om. All right?
Yeah.
I know we good.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, and Guile Caribbean TV for Tuesday, the 19th of May. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles is questioning the National Gas Company's decision to end its relationship with international ratings agency Moody's. Speaking at a PNM event in Port of Spain, Beckles claimed Moody's was preparing to downgrade the state-owned company because information was being withheld. She accused the government of canceling the arrangement instead of providing the requested details. Beckles also raised concerns over ongoing probes into housing contracts linked to the HDC and Landmark TT, including the $100 million Allenby residential development project. She further criticized the government over its housing promises, claiming no homes have yet been delivered since the administration took office. Attorney Syra Locken says the staffing crisis within the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has become a major threat to the criminal justice system in Trinidad and Tobago. Her comments come after DPP Roger Gaspard revealed that severe staff shortages are preventing the office from assigning prosecutors to additional criminal courts aimed at reducing the case backlog. Locken warned the situation is already affecting justice delivery, pointing to recent murder and gang-related cases being dismissed because of prosecutorial delays and filing issues. While commending the judiciary for appointing more judges and masters, she argued that expanding the courts without increasing prosecutorial staff would achieve little progress. Locken also said there is no shortage of legal talent locally and called for urgent recruitment and internship programs within the ODPP. Hundreds of people seeking free eye surgery caused major traffic congestion along the Western Main Road on Monday as patients flocked to the community hospital of Seventh-day Adventists in Cocorate. More than 1,200 people, many of them elderly, have already received free cataract and eye surgeries since the humanitarian mission began on May 14th. The initiative is being led by Indian ophthalmologist Dr. Jacobs Prabhakar alongside local doctor Reynold Agard. Organizers say the program uses a high-volume surgical technique capable of treating hundreds of patients daily. Many patients said they could not afford the $15,000 to $20,000 usually charged locally for similar procedures, while others complained of years-long delays in the public healthcare system. The free clinic continues daily until May 26th. 21 people were arrested during an anti-crime exercise in Dabity early Sunday morning. Police say officers from the Interagency Task Force and the Maloney Police Station carried out the operation between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. During a search of a business place in the district, officers reportedly discovered a hidden room behind a wall where several men were allegedly engaged in gambling activities. The owner of the establishment and 20 other men were arrested. Police say the owner is expected to face charges including operating a common gaming house and selling intoxicating liquor, while the others are expected to be charged with assembling to gamble. Officers also seized more than $10,000 in cash and several bottles of alcohol. In regional news, Caribbean community is calling for calm amid escalating tensions in the Middle East, warning that disruption in the Strait of Hormuz could seriously impact the global economy and small island states. In a statement, CARICOM said interference with shipping through the key waterway could raise energy prices, increase freight costs, and disrupt supply chains, leaving import-dependent countries especially vulnerable. The regional body urged all parties to de-escalate tensions and pursue diplomacy, while stressing that safe passage through the strait is protected under international law. CARICOM said it will continue monitoring the situation closely as concerns grow over the impact on global trade and stability. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump says he is holding off on a planned military strike against Iran as serious negotiations continue. In a social media post Monday, Trump said he instructed the U.S. military to remain prepared for a full, large-scale assault if an acceptable deal is not reached. He claimed the strike had been planned for Tuesday, but was paused following requests from regional allies including Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. The announcement comes amid ongoing tensions despite a fragile ceasefire reached in April. Trump has repeatedly warned Iran that time is running out to secure an agreement or face renewed fighting. He has also held talks in recent days with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Chinese President Xi Jinping about the situation involving Iran. And that is NETT Radio News at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're at work, on the go, or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Vibes, fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
History. Hey, 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 hey. Come now, boy. Come now, boy. Come work me out. Come work me out. Come work me. Come work me out. Come now, bend my back. Walk me, stretch me out. Walk me out. Give me pressure. Walk me. Don't hold back. Walk me out. I wanna feel it. Walk me. Here's me tension. Walk me out. Do it like you feel it. Walk me out. Be my personal trainer, baby. Walk me out. Apply the pressure. Don't take it easy. Walk me out. You make me feel good when you push me real hard. You is the best and there is no doubt about it. Bumper up, head down, go back up, go back down. Oh yes, I can feel it now. You're making me feel it now. Turn around, that's what I love it when you make me do that. Love when you put pressure on the spot like back. Come work me out. Come work me out. Come work me. Come work me out. Come now, bend my back. Walk me. Stretch me out. Walk me out. Give me pressure. Walk me. Don't hold back. Walk me out. I wanna feel it. Walk me. Here's me tension. Walk me out. Do it like you feel it. Walk me out. I don't feel the difference already. Walk me out. I feel the pain all up in my belly. Walk me out. You're testing my stamina. Can't hold back no longer. I can't tell no lie. I've seen the results already. Bumper up, head down, go back up, go back down. Oh yes, I can feel it now. You're making me feel it now. Turn around, that's what I love it when you make me do that. Love when you put pressure on the spot like back. Come work me out. Come work me out. Come work me. Come work me out. Come now, bend my back. Walk me. Stretch me out. Walk me out. Give me pressure. Walk me. Don't hold back. Walk me out. I wanna feel it. Walk me. Here's me tension. Walk me out. Do it like you feel it. Walk me out. History. Hey. Come now, boy. Come now, boy. Come work me out. Come work me out.
Fresh energy. This is the Net Radio Breakfast Show.
Come work me out. Come now, bend my back. Walk me. Stretch me out. Walk me out.
Okay, everybody, and of course, welcome back to the Breakfast Show right here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, the heartbeat of the Caribbean. And yes, this is where we take you above and beyond.
Be my personal trainer, baby. Apply the pressure, don't take it easy.
And of course, if you're just joining us for the very first time this morning, thank you so much for making us your choice each and every day. Yeah.
Bumper up.
Good morning to the Anthem crew, those of you that came in just before 6 o'clock. And all the other people who are coming in throughout the morning, thank you so much for being here. Good morning to the people on Gael Caribbean TV. Yeah, taking us up and down the Caribbean. So thank you so much. So a little house cleaning for you guys. First of all, just to let you know that when we come off of the TV feed, the Gael feed, closer to 9 o'clock, and of course our YouTube and Facebook feed, you can come across the netradiott.com. That's NETT radiott.com. And you can listen to us all day, and you can do so every day. Right? If you have your streaming platforms, we have a number of different streaming platforms. TuneIn, Simple Radio, iTuner, Online Radio Box, and Radio Garden. All you have to put in the command is NETT Radio Trinidad, NETT Radio Trinidad. And of course, you'll be able to hear us on any one of your preferred streaming device, right? Also, don't forget to put your stamp on all of our social media platforms. So whether you are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and especially TikTok, I want you all to put all your stamp on TikTok, right? Like, subscribe, follow the pages. And also, don't forget to donate to the platform also, because that is what is going to keep us up and running, right? So make sure you support us by adding and across the board, right? So our morning poll is up.
Come now, boy. Come work me out. Come work me.
Right. So we are asking you this morning, do you support the TTPS issuing traffic tickets to drivers while they are seeking medical attention at the SDA hospital? It happened yesterday. I'm not sure if it will happen today. But do you support that action? 1 if you're voting yes, 2 if you're voting no. And you can vote on our WhatsApp channel, and of course our social media pages also, yeah?
You make me feel good.
So when we come back, we will tell you how you voted, and of course coming up just at around 7:30, we expect to be talking with Om Lalla. Talking about all that, the judiciary bacchanal. Om is going to help us to clear up and get a little better understanding as to what is taking place. So all that is on the other side of the break.
Cipriani College, we are back. The box office smash Scandal in Citrus is back. We are back because you demanded it for 3 nights only. Friday the 29th and Saturday the 30th of May at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 31st at 6:30 p.m. Tickets available now at usual outlets and online. Scandal in Citrus, we are back at Cipriani College. See it again or see it for the first time. Don't miss it.
St. Teresa Preschool presents their fundraising boat ride, Dancing Under the Moonlight, on Saturday, the 23rd of May, 2026. It's a collaboration of colors on board the Island Royalty. Bring your own coolers. Boarding time, 11 p.m. Sailing, 12 midnight. Music by DJ Chaotic from Sweet 100 FM. Kryptonite Sounds with Mr. Flavor of Net Radio TT. Dress code, elegantly casual. Gorgeous ladies wear blue. Handsome gentlemen wear pink. Admission, early bird tickets $200. Regular $250. No oversized cooler. For more information, call 375-6527-719-3379. Dancing Under the Moonlight aboard the Island Royalty.
Are you taking care of your sexual health and overall well-being? At Total Image and Dr. Raj Adult Boutique, we believe your confidence, wellness, and intimacy matter. Visit us at our convenient locations: 10 Carmody Street, St. Augustine, Edinburgh, Chaguanas, Shops of Daybay, 95 Circular Road, Vistabella, Docks Ranch Light Pole 51, SS Aaron Road, Penal, and Metro Hotel, Suite 1, Number 2 Knoll Street North, Couva. From relaxing massage services to professional guidance on sexual wellness, we are here to support you every step of the way. Consult with renowned sexologist, Dr. Raj Ramnanan, for expert advice tailored to your needs. Take the first step toward a healthier, more confident you. Call 285-9739 or 645-4543 to book your appointment today. Total Image and Dr. Raj Adult Boutique, where wellness meets confidence.
It's the Grand Clearance Sale at Fats International Styles. Everything must go. All clothing, only $100. Sneakers, just $200. Yes, you heard right. Massive deals, unbeatable prices while stocks last. Visit Fats International Styles Arena opposite Castro's restaurant. Don't miss your chance to grab the hottest styles at crazy clearance prices. Hurry in today because once it's gone, it's gone.
Two Fat Fellas celebrates its final performance in San Fernando, Naparima Bowl.
One night, one show, Saturday, May 30th, night of the holiday.
Two Fat Fellas stars, Cecilia, Penny, Kevon, Zachary, Rachel, and Rhodey.
The ridiculously funny comedy is at Naparima Bowl for one final night.
Tickets available at Dormont Shoe Store, Long Circular Mall, Anthony's Floral Val Park, K-Square Stores, Eastgate Mall, Brentwood Plaza, C3 Center, Athletes by the Park, Southern Food Basket, Coffee Street, and Point Fortin. Naparima Bowl box office opens on Thursday the 28th of May. Also online at islandtickets.com. For more info, text or call 683-0356 or 683-4843.
Check out our early bird special online at Island E-Tickets. Two Fat Fellas.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
All right, so we are back.
Yes, we are, and some very interesting comments coming up, coming in the chat on the poll. I will read one though. Finbar Collins. Let me see. Yeah, this is it here. Finbar Collins. It is something I would have normally voted yes to, but this is a failure by the hospital and the TTPS for not being in dialogue. A simple park and ride system could have been implemented using the National Stadium in the east and West Park in the west. Hire maxis to transport the patients, use an appointment system, etc. They need to consult more transport engineers before doing these things. I don't disagree with that. You know, but even if the hospital and nobody, the TTPS, didn't think that this thing would have been as overwhelming as it became. Right? Yeah. Because clearly it wasn't being subscribed to, why people started spreading the news that, hey, listen, this is happening, go and take advantage of it. So it became an overwhelming response. Your first response to that is to ticket people. For people who've traveled, and even at our international airport, or for people who've experienced it, when you go to drop off someone, or whatever, sometimes you take a little longer. The people there generally come and just usher you away and say, hey, you know, or they monitor you and see how long you're taking or whatnot. But it's almost chaotic. It's chaotic and especially in some airports abroad, chaotic. But I don't know. I've never seen them ticket anybody. They always come and say, hey, move along, or they blow a whistle or things like that. You know what I mean? Their last resort will ever be to ticket you. Why we so unpeople friendly? or unfriendly to people. And Colton since said it perfectly. In TNT, nothing seems to be done to make life easier for the citizenry. It's frustrating. It is. The last resort we do first. Go and take it up.
Yeah, you know, we can get out there. Let's see how we can help this situation. You can't be so punitive for every situation in this country. And the Trinidad and Tobago police, in a lot of cases, they're very punitive. You know, rather than come out there, let's see how we can assess the situation, how we can help this situation. You know, this is not. We're not going to our boat ride. We're not going to play cricket. You know, we know what is the nature of this thing. And even though people talk about park and ride and all that sort of thing, if they don't have everything facilitated, maybe we have a lot of aged people coming too. So
yes.
The little air conditioning, the car can help you for all those hours here and there. You know, somebody might be able to take a little rest, a little sleep, or while the nephew, son, husband drive them up. You know, so.
So Charles, let me tell you something that happens almost on a daily basis that I get really upset for. And I know people will say, but they're breaking the law. But hear what? When you coming up that street, I can't remember the name of the street, Gaston Johnson. No, not Gaston Johnson. Henry Pierre? No, not Henry Pierre either. Anyway, by Fatima there, you're approaching Fatima College from Woodbrook. You turning up. You can't turn right between certain hours, right? You cannot make a right turn to go up, further up to Eastern Woodbrook, right? You must make a left turn, right? But plenty of people come up there not knowing, but there are signs there to turn right. So Charles, you know what the police do on a regular basis?
Yeah.
They wait on the other corner, hiding around the corner to see when you turn right and just pull over and take a ticket.
Yeah.
Instead of they wait on the corner that you can't turn right to tell you, hello, go so, you cannot turn here.
Yeah.
They don't wait there, you know. They're waiting on the other corner to get the ticket.
So yeah,
so you can peep around the corner to see when you turn right, pull you over to get a ticket.
Yeah. So the police is not there to help you.
No, they're not there to help.
You're not here.
They're there to ticket. It's crazy. I don't know.
I see that in Tunapuna right here too on the Eastern Main Road. There are certain times of the morning where you are supposed to make a left and go in the back of Tunapuna if you're coming up the Eastern Main Road. And you would see the traffic wardens and the police, they're about 200 feet up on the inside. They'll never come around the corner and say, let's just make sure and send them that direction. You know, in case one or two persons who may not be familiar with the area, you know, we can. No. They're waiting up inside to get a ticket.
Yeah, they're hiding to give you a ticket instead of stopping you from doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You understand? So in other words, go on the highway and say, hello, you can't park. Move along. Just drop off and move along. Because you recognize this is something that's going to be happening over the next few days. And it will be overwhelming. So just keep people moving along. Because generally people won't park there. They see police and traffic wardens there. You know? They wouldn't park. They will drop off and move along. You understand? But guess what? We wait till they park and then go and take it there.
And then we go and we take it there. Yeah. So, all right. So, people, we can take a couple of your calls before our guest gets inside here on the poll. You can tell us why you voted yes or no on the poll, right? Just on the poll, nothing else, right?
Just on the poll, we're doing it, right?
Yeah.
Do you support the TTPS issuing traffic tickets to drivers while they are seeking medical attention at this SDA Seventh-day Adventist Hospital? Yes or no? 14% of you voted yes, and 86% voted no. You know, I'm undecidedly no. I will never support. I'm in support of police going on there and regulating the traffic. I will never be in support of police ticketing people just like that. Never.
Yeah, man. I can't support it, especially for what it is. You know, there are some things that I understand. Everything cannot be just black and white. You know, so for some situations you recognize what it is and you assess it and you try to help it on. You know, not everything deserves a big stick. All right. So let's take the call. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Charles.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Wendell.
Good morning.
Well, I don't know if Richard is here. Good morning, Richard. Listen to me. They should change their motto from protect and serve to hide and punish. That is what they need to do. Change their motto.
Yeah.
Because, everything in Trinidad and Tobago now is for people to just hold their head and scream. It's red, it's frustration all around. People go in there because the government system has let them down. That is why that happening too. Because if we had a system that would move on and help people and not put you off every month after month, years, you go into a clinic, you can't get assistance. That just shows up the government too, that we have a health system that is not helping the poor person in this country here. You understand? There's an avenue for increase in surgeries in the general hospital. That is what the government needs to observe now. But there's an orchestrated plan by doctors to delay people and force you into private surgery. And people do not have that kind of money to spend on eyes. That goes to show that certain things needs to be done. They need to speed up. Look how many general hospitals we have throughout this country here. And if they could do 300 surgeries in one day, why our general hospitals can't do it?
Yeah. Zina, thanks much. Thanks much.
Because I've been seeing people commenting that we're doing 5 and 6 a day at our hospitals, as opposed to what's happening down at Kukuri there. I mean, this is a concentrated effort there, no.
But whatever it is that they use, and the government, looking at it, should invest in that technology, because it doesn't seem to be any major technology that we need to have 10 billion to do it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You see how quick they put it in? They are doing what they have to do. So that means whatever it is they're using, it's manageable to move around with and that kind of thing. To dismantle, to mount up, to have the personnel who are doing it. So government always should be investing in whatever technology that they have there. By next month, we should have that in our hospital. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Pleasant morning, Wendell and Richard. I listened to this system. This is it's so heartrending. I mean, to be honest with you all, as I typed earlier on, there's no right way to break the law. There's no right way to do the wrong thing, right? And I mean, why we look at the situation where people need to get this kind of treatment where they have been waiting years, in the local hospitals and what have you to get the appointments. One has to understand that, listen, law remains the law at all times. You cannot compromise the law for one thing, right? And chastise somebody else for another thing. There is no way you could park on a highway. No way. And even if the police, as only when things like this happen, we go say the police should have do this and the authorities should have do that. Everybody know what is right from wrong. Almost, I believe everybody know what is right from wrong. And you're not supposed to park on a highway. You understand? If you want, you're supposed to drop the people and them and move on. They know that. The people of the citizens of this country know that, and I am happy like something like this happens. Goes right back to the crime issue where people getting shot and killed all over the place. When nobody sees who shoot and who it shoot, because everybody fearful for their life. But at the end of the day, you're telling me that you should allow the people to park on the highway. So
no, that's not what we said. That's not what we said.
I'm not saying what you... No, this is my words. I am not saying you said that. I am saying... So it is right that they should park on the highway and no. There's no right way to do the wrong. Let the people and them observe the laws of the land, because I'm glad this situation happening. This is opening a can of worms. This is open. Everybody may have a different suggestion, but my suggestion, the law has to prevail, right? The law must prevail at all times. That's my suggestion.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much.
Which is why I made the point You get the officers out there and you say, listen, move along. Tell them, drop off and move along. You cannot park here. Because as I said, people will not park if there is a presence, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't tell me that and I agree with you. There is a law that you cannot park on a highway. But guess what? That law is very subjective. Because I drive on the highway every day and I see people park to pick up the school children, sometimes by a particular school, on the highway.
Right in St. Augustine.
On the side. Huh?
Right in St. Augustine.
Yeah, I did. So don't tell me people can't park because I never see police give a ticket there.
Yeah. You understand?
I tell all you really starting all you trying to rile me up, you know.
And police have a thing called discretion. You understand? People who are, you see, we are saying that everybody who probably come there living in and around St. James, people come from quite San Fernando, Tipe, all the other places.
All over. People come from Tobago, Sir Charles.
I don't know where some of those car parks is in those areas. So if I had gone down there, I might have very well followed the same thing and say, well, all right, and park here to get into the hospital. I may not have known that it have a car park 200 feet down the road or whatever is the case. You understand? Because remember, you're coming down the highway. Yeah. So, yeah, the police have a thing called discretion. But let's take our final caller in between the session here. Mr. Arima, talk to me quick.
Morning. I on my way off. I hear somebody on the next frequency saying it's making the country look bad with this cataract. Don't imagine it has thousands of people living in this country. They don't have the money to go and spend to take the cataract surgery. You getting it free of charge done. So why is it they haven't been on making the country look bad? It has people living with one hand and one foot, right? You're getting foot, you're getting hand, go and take it. You're getting it free of charge. Don't talk about it making the country look bad. People don't have no money. You know how much they have to pay to get a foot. You know how much money, about $15,000 they have to pay to get a cataract.
Yeah.
You're getting it free, and people don't like that. Man, all you leave the people and they don't want to take it, who don't want to go. But at the end of the day, it is freely done.
All right, Mr. Arima, thanks much.
I don't know that anybody say there is a bad thing. Don't go and take it.
Yeah, I didn't hear anybody saying them don't want to take it. Yeah, you know, and I mean, it is to be commended. And just last week I was playing one of our good news coming out of India, where they have an extensive, expansive eye kind of operations like that. You understand, where people are not even turned back. You know, if you don't even have money, they are taking care of you because they recognize the value of people and sight. You understand?
Yeah.
So
it's an excellent initiative of Hands International and the Seventh-day Adventist Church. It has nothing to do with any government. It's the Seventh-day Adventist Church and Hands International. And for people who know that Seventh-day Adventist Church, you can't go there without spending money. They do, you understand? And the fact that they're doing this, that is excellent. And it's not the first time they're doing this.
No.
Right? This is not a new thing. This is not a now thing, okay?
Right,
it's just that it's so overwhelming this time that we're paying attention to it.
Yeah, but that technology is available. Government, we need it. Get it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into our Let's Talk segment here. All right, we're coming back. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Morning. How are you? Not too bad.
I'm good. Can't complain.
All right.
Is there discretion in law?
If what?
Is there discretion in law? It doesn't. Magistrates and police have discretion.
Well, the law is strict, but the discretion is how it's applied. Because remember, the law may not apply strictly to every circumstance. So the discretion is based on the evidence in the circumstance. But if, let's say, there's a strict liability, don't do X or Y, they don't have a discretion, where the discretion is in sentencing and how they treat with the matter after. So very often, for example, simple matters where it warrants a slap on the wrist rather than a conviction is where discretion ought to be exercised, or in plea bargaining where there should be some sort of discretion rather than punishing and destroying somebody's character by having a conviction does not really serve the purpose.
So the police can apply discretion before it gets to the...
Of course. The police can assess a situation and make a determination, well, look, whether there was an intention, reckless or malicious, or whether it was somebody exercising discretion in a difficult situation or emergency situation. We would have seen many cases where people, for example, have been using a bus route as an emergency, either pregnancy or rushing to the hospital, and police stop the people and charge them and say, it doesn't matter what your emergency is, I'm charging you. And the courts very often would reverse those decisions. So that's where the police have the discretion, because you as an officer can exercise your discretion and say, look, this situation warrants a warning based on the circumstances, as opposed to somebody joyriding on a bus route and clearly doing it just as a frolic and not an emergency, no justification. The law is the law, but the police do have the discretion how to exercise it.
Right. So in a case, all right, let's be specific to this issue of the police apparently issuing tickets on the highway yesterday, but down by the Seventh-day Adventist hospital, to drivers who would have parked there to access the hospital for this cataract surgery that they are having. How, you as a police officer, how would you have treated with that?
Well, first of all, if I was a senior police officer, I would recognize that, look, this surgery is likely to attract lots of people who are desperate for surgery. And if you have cataract, this is not something you're going to treat lightly. You're going to do everything in your power to get in that line to get surgery. So this is not a FET, this is not a Lyme, this is not a gathering. And if the police are not able to put measures in place for a situation that clearly is incapable of dealing with the volume of people, then the police are also negligent in terms of managing a situation. So people, again, are doing this not out of recklessness or maliciousness or intent to break the law. It's not like they're doing this every day. The police should have met and decided, look, we have a problem here. How do we traffic and funnel people through quickly rather than creating even more delays by charging everybody, go down the road and park? I mean, it's exercising discretion in a situation that the police, the seniors should be looking at it and saying, look, for the next 5 days, there's going to be massive traffic here, gridlock. Do we put cones? Do we create a drop-off system? How do we facilitate a situation that does not have a proper drop-off system? So in situations like this is not a one-off reckless thing. There would have been collaboration with the police. There would have been notification. There may not have been an understanding of the volume of people. But I mean, I can't deny anybody rushing there and doing everything in their power to get free surgery, because the cost of these surgeries in private enterprises are difficult. And usually these are elderly people who are desperate. So again, I wouldn't necessarily blame the officers who may get instructions, charge everybody. I would blame the seniors for not making an assessment of a situation. If first day it goes bad, by evening you should have a meeting and say, listen, this is a situation where people are desperately going, how do we address this? How do we put a measure in place? And rather than telling everybody, well, I'm just going to create more backlog and create more traffic and frustration by charging people. And that's where the discretion comes in. But it's top down. If the top is not guiding the constable there, the constable don't know better. He's told by his seniors, charge everybody. He's charging, because if he doesn't charge, they'll blame him when he goes back in his station. Well, you caused the traffic. So again, it's sensible policing in a situation like that you want to have.
All right. You know?
Interesting. Today we really wanted to talk about what's going on in the judiciary. And I mean, for decades, we have been responding to crime with a lot of temporary fixes, emergency measures, institutional, expansion, and all, yet all of those things have not really helped with the backlog, with the delays, with the public frustration all those things continue to grow. Do we have, or are we really at a point where we have to admit that this criminal justice system that we are running is not just suffering from an isolated problem, but the whole judicial system, there are flaws, and we need to fix this thing in totality?
Most certainly, but you have to look at the whole judicial system as a holistic system. It comes from ground up, from police, prison, prosecutors, court system. Bear in mind, remember, if you all throw back your mind 30 years ago, the delay in the criminal justice system, it still took 8 to 10 years to get a murder trial dealt with. It's no different now. The volume of criminal cases are much higher than, let's say, 20, 30 years ago, but the infrastructure is the same. So you're dealing with a higher volume of cases in a system that is incapable of dealing with the volume. And bear in mind, we always talk statistically about the low detection and prosecution rate. Could you imagine what would happen in a system like this if the police were to get their act together and increase the prosecution rate or the charging rate? The system would break under the pressure, because even in its low level of detection and charges, the system is incapable of dealing with it. Now, it is an administrative problem. If we look at it from a judiciary point of view, the Chief Justice is responsible for managing his courts. Now, we've seen the new Chief Justice in the last 6 months or thereabouts. Since January, has appointed, I think, 15 or 18 judges. And that's to tell you the level of vacancies that have existed. And that has sparked the issue now of whether the DPP's office, Director of Public Prosecutions office, that is responsible for prosecuting matters in the High Court, has the resources. And we all know Roger Gaspard for the last 20 years has been complaining about staffing shortages, his inability to manage his department properly. He fought for maybe 5 or 7 years trying to get rental space to accommodate his offices. So in one hand, yes, you might appoint more judges, but if you don't have qualified prosecutors to prosecute your matters, you're going to have a further breakdown. So if we're not looking at the things holistically, we're going to have problems. So it is encouraging to see at least the Chief Justice is saying appoint more judges. That is welcome. But there's more that is required than just that. We've seen within recent time an expansion of the legal aid office. We've seen the public defender's office, where people can get representation from a state-run organization similar to legal aid. So those are the mechanisms designed to try to clear backlog. But we're far from reaching any acceptable standard of backlog. And like I say, we're fortunate the police cannot get their charge rate higher because the system would literally combust.
But as you're on that issue of the Public Defender's Department and what's happening vis-a-vis the DPP office, lately we have had a lot of people too being freed of charges based on the DPP's office unable to continue with a prosecution. We've had several issues, several cases like that lately too. How would you? Is that a plus for the Public Defender's Department or negative for the DPP's department?
Well, neither, because what it is very often in these cases, a prosecutor is only good as the evidence he has before him to prosecute with. And remember, a prosecutor is still meant to be an officer of the court. If he cannot get the information from the police officers, they're lacking in providing the witness statements, complying with the directions of the court, the prosecutor can only do so much. And if a prosecutor were to try to make up or fabricate or do things that he shouldn't be doing, then the system fails. What is happening, and I see it all the time in the court, that police officers are not complying with directions, then witnesses are not available, witness statements are not available, and there are major delays on the part of the system in having the cases managed. Now, you have to look at the flip side. If you're an accused person sitting in waiting for the 5 or 10 years, and the police can't get their act together, they can't get the file, can you wait indefinitely? Or if a lawyer says to the court, listen, I want a final hearing, get your act together, and they don't get their act and the matter is dismissed, who is at fault there? Remember, it has to be a balancing exercise. If I charge you, upon charging you within a very short space of time, I should have all the evidence that caused me to want to charge you, and it should not be difficult for me to put a file together. When you see cases 5 years on and they're still trying to look for a witness and gather information and take a statement and put something before the court, it demonstrates the failure in the entire system of why these cases fall apart. And again, one last thing, the justice system is meant to judge people fairly. It's what evidence is before the court. So prosecutors and judges are not meant to be biased, and we hope they're never biased in terms of how they dispense the justice. Look at the facts before the case and administer the justice.
But isn't it incumbent upon the DPP's office to examine these cases before going forward with it? I mean, if the police...
In an ideal situation, yes.
Yeah.
But you see, the point
in an ideal situation, in an ideal world, yes.
And you know,
good morning, Om.
Morning, Richard. How are you? But generally, the prosecution would look at it as an overview. But then if witnesses are not available, they're not showing up, police officers are not showing up. And remember, you think about it, you are a witness in a matter, let's say a murder case. 10 years they're calling you to testify. After a point in time, after 10 years of being called before the court or being part of a matter, you may be disinclined by the time the matter comes up to want to participate in the matter. So again, you have the issues of witnesses becoming reluctant and cases falling apart. So there may be evidence that the prosecution, the DPP...
I hear you, but part of the problem, I think, too, according to what Wendell is asking, there are sometimes some cases where police have wrongly charged or have done a mischievous charge. And there has to be a way for the DPP's office to get those, because those cases start to clog up the system too. So there has to be a way for them to review those cases and say, no, this is a ridiculous case. This case does not meet the standard, of a prima facie case, even from the evidence that you've given me here.
And you see, you're only as good as your lawyer. So very often, the DPP themselves, and I've experienced it, would just prosecute matters from a statistical point of view. And 10 years later, when they're before a judge and a judge is pressing, then they would reveal that the case has little or no merit. And what the DPP's office should be doing is looking very closely and seeing, look, does this case even have the ingredients to move forward rather than just moving it along because we're charging the police want to prosecute it? You have to write the DPP and you hope, fortunately we have a fair DPP, but it's getting his attention to look at a particular file. I've seen so many cases that should not be prosecuted. And the prosecution, any lawyer would look at the evidence and say it's weak. But they, in their mind, sometimes young prosecutors say, well, we are prosecutors, we're prosecuting for the sake of prosecuting. And that's why we would have seen recently the whole issue of where do you get more prosecutors from? How do you get them? It's not a simple system of just recruiting 300 lawyers coming out every year, throw them to prosecute. Remember, prosecuting is a very important role and responsibility. You're holding people's lives in your hands. The DPP is an independent office. They only have the constitutional power to discontinue matters where the police have charged. But if you have overzealous officers or officers who say, look, we're prosecuting for the sake of prosecuting and we're not diligently exercising our rights or our responsibilities as a Minister of Justice, you have a problem, and that exists. Now, I'm wondering where they're going to fill the shortfall of what the DPP is complaining about, which he's complained about for years, because people do not want to enter the criminal prosecution system. Even in defense bar, lawyers are disinclined to be involved in the criminal justice system also. So many years ago, when I did far more criminal cases, there were a lot of criminal lawyers, very competent. Now there's a handful of lawyers who sort of dominate the arena, and it's because people have drifted away from it. Now, it may be following the European model, even with the appointment of many judges. You have a shortage of judges. You're looking for competent people, but you're not getting the 15, 20-year hardcore practitioners. You're getting people who might be in DPP's office or maybe who have had a decent practice. And in Europe, what they do, they have judge school, Or if you come out of law school and you want to be a judge, you spend 3 years in judge school where it conditions your mind. And I too am always very nervous about the need to just appoint magistrates and judges who may come from a prosecutorial background. I can't shed my defense coat, but you see, the point is you want to make sure that while on one hand you're trying to deal with systems and clear backlog, but there must be that fairness and that balancing that who you're putting are going to dispense justice properly. And it may be time that we look at the European model of you come out, you have 10 years school, but you need 3 months of schooling where judges will guide you and talk about fairness and balance and discretion and how you manage it to shed, if you came from prosecutorial or defense background, not to demonstrate the bias. And sometimes I appear before magistrates who come from a DPP background, and you can tell they're so biased. They can't demonstrate the neutrality. And as a lawyer, you must learn, you wear different coats at different times, but some people can't shed it. And if that is the case, and you get 100 judges, but the judges aren't demonstrating fairness or they're not demonstrating the training they ought to have, then you're not really helping the system. You're just clearing backlog. And judicial system, when you come with people's rights and people getting locked up and jail and changing their whole life, it's not something we play with lightly. Yeah. And those things we have to be vigilant about. So on one hand, put more people, prosecute, do what have you. But are we really ensuring that there's a system in place that mirrors the level of fairness we want to see? And that was a time
that's a very valid criticism. That is a very, I think that's a very prudent suggestion following the European model, because you are right that sometimes magistrates or judges who come from that background sometimes don't shed it and they believe everything the police says. Mm-hmm. And the defense counsel are like, but this makes no sense. So clearly,
And remember, if people do not feel they're getting justice or the perception of justice, the system fails, This is not a statistical exercise, If I go before court and, okay, I'm found guilty, but I felt I got a fair hearing, the judge treated me fairly and with dignity, okay, the system works. But if I feel there's a perception of bias and oppressiveness, then the system fails. So we can't only look at statistics and say, look how we clear and everything. It's a very, very important balancing exercise.
Is it a fact that to get to be a magistrate or judge, you must come to the public system? In other words, you either would have operated through the DPP office that they hardly ever take from the private.
No, that's not true. No,
that's not true. Mm-hmm. But what happens a lot, it's an easier recruitment avenue with the DPP's office or the State Department. So lawyers may serve their time 5 years, usually is the minimum for a magistrate, 10 years for a judge, and they decide, look, they want a career change, but they would have had a track record of somebody supervising them at a certain level of cases. And sometimes you find private practitioners decide they want to enter, but you see a greater influx from public sector. But it is literally across the bar, anybody can apply to become a judge.
Okay.
Years gone by, Richard would remember that there were a series of temporary appointments where they went to the senior bar, and to create backlog, you got senior practitioners serving for 3 months and 6 months stints to help the system clear backlog. So those are things that can be looked at, but I would advance this whole system of the retraining, the retooling, even continuing education for young lawyers. You have 300-400 lawyers coming out, and while I welcome more and more lawyers, but at the end of the day, they're the ones who are advising people, representing people in the forefront. If they're not getting the training from the Law Association and the system itself, this is where you need to go. You learn nothing in law school. I mean, Richard will tell you, we started to learn when you come out of law school. And if you don't have mentorship anymore, you don't have pupilages, there are too many lawyers. So how do you bridge those gaps? And I mean, I deal with a lot of people who feel they've not been represented properly or got bad advice, and you can't blame the lawyer. They may not know better. People don't know which lawyer to go to. So you need, as much as judges sometimes need training, so to the young lawyers. And there should be a mechanism that as long as you are practicing for the first 5 years, you must, as in England, have a mandatory 5 or 10 hours of courses that you must attend and be certified in to continue practicing. Because remember, it comes back to the public. And here we wonderfully have 400 lawyers, but do the public get the delivery they need to be getting from all services? And that's where the administration of justice is not simply how much people are locked up or how effectively the police are arresting people in a state of emergency or not. It is whether the system, the perception of justice is taking place in a way that people feel the system is working.
Yeah. What I would like to find out, right, and this is not, I don't want to use the word blame, but probably take charge with what we are seeing. Who is responsible or should take charge in remedying this thing from step 1 to step 10 to make sure that we have a smooth running system?
Well, it's all about leadership and leadership in every arena. At the end of the day, if you are the CEO of the police service or the prison service or the Ministry of Justice, you have to recognize what the problems are. I mean, crime is a global issue. We know that's a #1 issue in Trinidad. And even if you had to talk to stakeholders to figure out, look, what are the problems? How do you address these problems? How do you fix it? It can't be something that's just done in isolation. I mean, in our discussion alone here, we can identify major flaws in the system, but sometimes you wonder how the top doesn't hear these things in order to put mechanisms in place. A simple system, like while I know there's an increased move for plea bargaining, but plea bargaining should be used so much more effectively and in a way that it's communicated, that it's okay to plea bargain, it's safe to plea bargain, it's fair to plea bargain, so that I don't think people understand that they can plea bargain or that they're not going to be compromised by it. But if you're not trying to clear, let's say, the smaller offenses, for example, to say, look, we are prepared, we'll put a court to plea bargain. And there's a perception that, listen, if you are a law-abiding citizen and you have one infraction, we look at it and we can examine it and plea bargain and clear backlog. I mean, you have the new bills coming out to remove your record and all of that, but you still have a backlog that is not going to clear in our lifetime.
But let me ask this question then, based on what you just said and the most recent case of the missing child in Tobago, where does that plea bargain start? Because surely someone knows about that child. And now you're hearing about the multiple arrests of we don't know whom being detained, multiple detentions that is, concerning this missing child. Where does that plea bargain start? Surely it
plea
must start
bargain
there.
would only really start upon conviction or prosecution. So if you are charged, then you plea bargain your way out. Now, if there are people who want to provide information to the police, that can be done by providing information and let's say providing statements, and then the police decide whether you are culpable or not, or whether you become a witness. That's a whole different arena before you reach the level of charging. But then again, people have to be mindful. If the police make promises to you, are they going to follow up on it? Are you being represented? And to the extent that they're not making empty promises, as the police often do when you're charged, or arrested and detained.
Does the Justice Minister, is he responsible, as you're saying, the stakeholders, getting the stakeholders together, whether it be the police from the lower level to the higher level, where they can have discussions so everybody knows where they are supposed to be going forward, identifying shortcomings, things that need to be put in place, and also holding people accountable to timelines to get things done. Does that happen?
Well, I would like to believe it's happening, but at the end of the day, as a major stakeholder, the Minister of Justice, which is a newly created ministry, or anybody who had that equivalent role, would be responsible for meeting with the Chief Justice, the Chief Magistrate, all the stakeholders, and identifying what their problems are. Remember, at the end of the day, all these entities, the police, the defense force, the prison, the courts, rely on the state for funds to be able to achieve what their targets are. you hear the DPP complaining that he does not have his own budget. He has to be waiting cap in hand for the appointment of officers. So on one hand, you can't complain that matters are not being prosecuted, but not have the lawyers who are suitably qualified to prosecute. And again, you have to look at the low-hanging fruit. How do you, while you're trying to prosecute the big matters, how do you get rid of the small matters? Look, for example, a long time ago, when I was a junior lawyer in the Dolce matter, they set up an entire criminal court in Chagaramas. I don't know if you recall that.
Yeah.
Properly outfitted, all the facilities, which I thought was a great court to prosecute high sensitive matters because it's in a military base. After Dolce, they used it for a year and they closed down the court. Millions spent to build a court that could have served a useful purpose, but you fail. You have issues where we see, regrettably, Randall Hector, the former DPP officer, was murdered, Dina Sidal murdered. You have a lot of fear that exists. How do you create a system to prosecute some of these serious matters? Now, whether or not you engage, let's say, your Commonwealth countries and say, look, there's no prosecutor who wants to do this matter because they have a family, they live in a neighborhood, they're at risk. Get a Commonwealth prosecutor. If no judge wants to do it for fear of their life, get a Commonwealth judge. Put a system in place that you could deal with these matters. But kicking the can down the road, hoping that it will resolve itself, is not a solution to it. There are matters that judges and prosecutors are nervous to deal with. There's no secret about that. And yes, you want to hold a judge responsible, but you can't force somebody to do something that they cannot do. But in a time like this, where we have this whole Commonwealth network, how do you utilize it to deal with those matters? So if on the low end, you're looking at plea bargaining for the marijuana charge that is 10 years old, and on the high end, you have murder and or drug trafficking that can't move, you have to find mechanisms that the small man gets justice. But at the top, you're showing that the system can move and you can deal with the big matters. There are too many matters that are serious matters that are languishing 10 years. And people will be saying the Vindra Naipaul matter, the prosecution took 8 or 10 years, they get $20 million. Why does a prosecution take 10 years to take place? That is an injustice to the victim and to the accused persons. And those are the things we should be looking at, how we address those things. Imagine if you are charged.
Yeah, sorry. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, just saying, could you imagine if you are charged and you're innocent and you have to wait 10 years? When you come out, what life are you going back to? What is there to go back to? Your family is destroyed. Nobody wants to hire you. You're left to languish. And there's so many cases of people that are innocently charged. I remember when I used to do a lot of murder cases, all the cases were just on a confession. And when you do the voir dire and you realize that it was a faulty confession case, falls apart. There are still people who are prosecuted today falsely and wrongly. And the whole life falls apart. And yet we are happy to hear people are charged to see the police working. But you get charged for the wrong thing and get set up and see how different it feels.
We always say that on this breakfast show, Always tell people that. Pray that they don't interact with a rogue police.
Yeah. As we're closing off the interview, because I know we are a little bit behind time, I just wanted to ask one thing. I don't know how much your knowledge is of the regional system, but is Trinidad and Tobago an outlier in terms of how long cases are in backlog, or is this symptomatic throughout the English-speaking Caribbean?
Well, the little that I know, it is symptomatic, but because of we can only be compared to Jamaica, because the other Caribbean islands don't have the volume of matters we're having before the courts. And each country has been looked at within its own realm of its resources that are available to it. We know year in, year out, we're running in the top ranking of countries with high murder rates and high crime. So we're in a unique position, and we have to address it in a way that addresses our problems. And this is something, since I'm practicing, is a conversation we've been having. This is not a new conversation. This has been going on since I'm in the law, and Richard, the same applies to you. This is nothing new, and we keep repeating it, and it goes on, and the can gets kicked down the road, and nothing is done because sometimes the people who are trampled have no recourse and can't say nothing, so it doesn't matter. So, you're just a statistic.
I feel like somebody with my own legal issues, like I've been in the law too forever.
I've been here, for a long time doing what you're doing. My final question is, are you confident that we are anywhere closer to getting this situation resolved in any meaningful way in any short time?
Well, I'm only confident that we keep pushing the envelope and forcing the system to work. Because the minute we stop talking and pushing and agitating, it will fall apart. And if you don't have faith, we really have nothing left. So you have to have faith that it will work, and we have to agitate it. We have to push it. We have to raise these issues. The public has to be aware so that at least those who are in authority will start taking heed. I'm happy to see the Chief Justice is appointing new judges, and he seems to be taking a proactive stand. I've been in the Court of Appeal recently, and they're pushing matters that have been languishing for 5 years. They're having matters heard quickly. So maybe that seems to be a good step in the right direction, but there's a lot more that has to be done. But it starts with the first step, and maybe that might be a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay. When we have you back home, we'll talk a bit about police paying, as a judge suggested, for their criminal, how I should put it, negligence, in terms of bringing false charges against people.
Not only criminal negligence, sometimes criminal misbehavior.
Right.
They charge people fraudulently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, guys. Have a great day, and to your listeners.
Thanks.
Yes. Thanks a lot, Om Lalla. Yeah. So that was Om Lalla, of course, speaking with us this morning, but we are way behind on news, so we'll go straight to the news at this point.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is Net Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, and Guile Caribbean TV for Tuesday, the 19th of May. I am Derek McMillan. Thank you for joining us. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles is questioning the national gas company's decision to end its relationship with international ratings agency Moody's. Speaking at a PNM event in Port of Spain, Beckles claimed Moody's was preparing to downgrade the state-owned company because information was being withheld. She accused the government of canceling the arrangement instead of providing the requested details. Beckles also raised concerns over ongoing probes into housing contracts linked to the HDC and Landmark TT, including the $100 million Allenby residential development project. She further criticized the government over its housing promises, claiming no homes have yet been delivered since the administration took office. Attorney Syra Locken says the staffing crisis within the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions has become a major threat to the criminal justice system in Trinidad and Tobago. Her comments come after DPP Roger Gaspard revealed that severe staff shortages are preventing the office from assigning prosecutors to additional criminal courts aimed at reducing the case backlog. Locken warned the situation is already affecting justice delivery, pointing to recent murder and gang-related cases being dismissed because of prosecutorial delays and filing issues. While commending the judiciary for appointing more judges and masters, she argued that expanding the courts without increasing prosecutorial staff would achieve little progress. Locken also said there is no shortage of legal talent locally and called for urgent recruitment and internship programs within the ODPP. Hundreds of people seeking free eye surgery caused major traffic congestion along the Western Main Road on Monday as patients flocked to the community hospital of Seventh-day Adventists in Cocorate. More than 1,200 people, many of them elderly, have already received free cataract and eye surgeries since the humanitarian mission began on May 14th. The initiative is being led by Indian ophthalmologist Dr. Jacobs Prabhakar alongside local doctor Reynold Agard. Organizers say the program uses a high-volume surgical technique capable of treating hundreds of patients daily. Many patients said they could not afford the $15,000 to $20,000 usually charged locally for similar procedures, while others complained of years-long delays in the public healthcare system. The free clinic continues daily until May 26th. 21 people were arrested during an anti-crime exercise in Dabity early Sunday morning. Police say officers from the Interagency Task Force and the Maloney Police Station carried out the operation between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. During a search of a business place in the district, officers reportedly discovered a hidden room behind a wall where several men were allegedly engaged in gambling activities. The owner of the establishment and 20 other men were arrested. Police say the owner is expected to face charges including operating a common gaming house and selling intoxicating liquor, while the others are expected to be charged with assembling to gamble. Officers also seized more than $10,000 in cash and several bottles of alcohol. In regional news, Caribbean community is calling for calm amid escalating tensions in the Middle East, warning that disruption in the Strait of Hormuz could seriously impact the global economy and small island states. In a statement, CARICOM said interference with shipping through the key waterway could raise energy prices, increase freight costs, and disrupt supply chains, leaving import-dependent countries especially vulnerable. The regional body urged all parties to de-escalate tensions and pursue diplomacy, while stressing that safe passage through the strait is protected under international law. CARICOM said it will continue monitoring the situation closely as concerns grow over the impact on global trade and stability. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump says he is holding off on a planned military strike against Iran as serious negotiations continue. In a social media post Monday, Trump said he instructed the U.S. military to remain prepared for a full, large-scale assault if an acceptable deal is not reached. He claimed the strike had been planned for Tuesday, but was paused following requests from regional allies including Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. The announcement comes amid ongoing tensions despite a fragile ceasefire reached in April. Trump has repeatedly warned Iran that time is running out to secure an agreement or face renewed fighting. He has also held talks in recent days with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Chinese President Xi Jinping about the situation involving Iran. And that is Net Radio News at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Scandal in Cipriani College! We are back! The box office smash Scandal in Citrus is back! We are back because you demanded it for 3 nights only. Friday the 29th and Saturday the 30th of May at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 31st at 6:30 p.m. Tickets available now at usual outlets and online. Scandal in Citrus, we are back at Cipriani College. See it again or see it for the first time. Don't miss it!
Scandal in Citrus!
St. Teresa Preschool presents their fundraising boat ride, Dancing Under the Moonlight, on Saturday, the 23rd of May, 2026. It's a collaboration of colors on board the Island Royalty. Bring your own coolers. Boarding time, 11 p.m. Sailing, 12 midnight. Music by DJ Chaotic from Sweet 100 FM. Kryptonite Sounds with Mr. Flavor of Net Radio TT. Dress code, elegantly casual. Gorgeous ladies wear blue. Handsome gentlemen wear pink. Admission, early bird tickets $200, regular $250. No oversized cooler. For more information, call 375-6527-719-3379. Dancing Under the Moonlight aboard the Island Royalty.
Are you taking care of your sexual health and overall well-being? At Total Image and Dr. Raj Adult Boutique, we believe your confidence, wellness, and intimacy matter. Visit us at our convenient locations: 10 Carmody Street, St. Augustine, Edinburgh, Chaguanas, Shops of Daybay, 95 Circular Road, Vistabella, Docks Ranch Light Pole 51, SS Aaron Road, Penal, and Metro Hotel, Suite 1, Number 2 Knoll Street North, Couva. From relaxing massage services to professional guidance on sexual wellness, we are here to support you every step of the way. Consult with renowned sexologist Dr. Raj Ramnanan for expert advice tailored to your needs. Take the first step toward a healthier, more confident you. Call 285-9739 or 645-4543 to book your appointment today. Total Image and Dr. Raj Adult Boutique, where wellness meets confidence.
It's the grand clearance sale at Fats International Styles. Everything must go. All clothing, only $100. Sneakers, just $200. Yes, you heard right. Massive deals, unbeatable prices while stocks last. Visit Fats International Styles Arima opposite Castro's restaurant. Don't miss your chance to grab the hottest styles at crazy clearance prices. Hurry in today because once it's gone, it's gone.
Two Fat Fellas celebrates its final performance in San Fernando, Naparima Bowl.
One night, one show, Saturday, May 30th, night of the holiday.
Two Fat Fellas stars, Cecilia, Kenny, Kevon, Zachary, Rachel, and Rody.
The ridiculously funny comedy is at Naparima Bowl for one final night.
Tickets available at Dormont Shoe Store, Long Circular Mall, Anthony's Floral Val Park, K-Square Stores, Eastgate Mall, Brentwood Plaza, C3 Center, Athletes by the Park, Southern Food Basket, Coffee Street, and Point Fortin. Naparima Bowl box office opens on Thursday the 28th of May. Also online at islandetickets.com. For more info, text or call 683-0356 or 683-4843.
Check out our early bird special online at Island E-Tickets. Two Fat Fellas.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Join me, Brother David Muhammad, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio, Powerful Radio. Join me to hear knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. here on New Era TT Radio, Net Radio.
Advertise with us on New Era TT Radio, the fastest growing streaming platform for talk in Trinidad and Tobago. Audio and video ads welcome. Elevate your brand with us. Connect with us at newerattradio@yahoo.com or call us at 299-5156. Now what are you waiting for?
We are back and we are about to close off so we could take your calls. All those who were calling, who were trying to call, I guess. A very insightful conversation once again with Om Lalla, who is quite willing to come and give us some legal advice on a regular basis. He has said so, that he will make himself available, even to you all, if you so desire. Yeah. It's like free cataract.
The thing about these situations that we have, the judiciary, all these things that we have in this country that just not working properly. We are everything, but nothing is working properly.
Yep.
And there seems to be no end in sight. I mean,
I wouldn't say that nothing is working properly. That's kind of a blanket statement.
All right, what working good?
Net Radio.
Legal and Advisory Authority, the Public Defender's Department.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'll give you all that, Richard. There are a few other things. I mean, I thought immigration was working properly until the scandal yesterday.
No, but I mean, that's just human behavior. But I mean, You could have that in any institution anywhere in the world. But I mean, in terms of the efficiency of, I think the licensing office is getting there. I mean, it had a lot of problems in terms of what it did, but certainly the online renewal system works because I experienced it firsthand in terms of somebody who did it. So there are things that work.
Well, the immigration
online. When people make blanket statements that nothing works, it kind of like, well, what do you mean nothing works?
Properly. But isn't that what the public defenders, all that is part of the judiciary?
It is.
Well,
it's part of the judicial system. It's not part of the judiciary.
And that's what I say. The system, none of the systems are working properly. So while you might find certain pockets might be working okay, but in total, the thing is not gelling properly.
The immigration / customs in departure arrival form is also working.
Yeah, that's working. Yeah, that's working. And all of my cousins and friends who came in for my aunt's funeral, a lot of them were impressed. They said there was no line, and they just zoomed through, and they were amazed. And they also said that the immigration officers were so friendly.
Yes.
And so smiling and stuff. They said they were pleasantly surprised because some of them had been here for years. One hadn't been here for like 20 years. Wow. And she was so pleasantly surprised. She just found everything worked smoothly.
Yes.
So there are things that work.
Yeah. That's working.
Yeah.
That's working.
And you have to wait months now to get passport and all kind of thing.
Yeah, well,
you will know. Well, I think part of it is that you have to know the system. So if you know that your passport is going to come in within the 6-month period, because you remember your passport has a 6-month period of efficacy when you travel. You need to know, well, my 6 months is coming up in 2027, and it's coming up at this date. This is when I should make the appointment, or now for that date if it's available. So I'm saying you have things, but you can still do walk-ins like what Wendell did.
Yeah.
So you have walk-ins that they will accept. So I mean, is the system perfect? No. But are there indications that certain things are getting better? I would say yes, some things are. And the more digital we get, the more I am hopeful, or I'm optimistic that the more digital we get, the more friendly a lot of these systems will become in terms of making it even more efficient for people at home, so you don't have to go anywhere. You can just do everything online.
You can pay a lot of bills now online. WASA, TNTech, Flow.
Yeah.
You can do all of those things online now. You don't need to go into African.
You don't have to go to the online. That's how I do it. I pay all my bills online.
Yeah.
So I'm always amazed when I pass by TNTech and WASA and I see people lining up. I'm like, oh, Flow. And I'm like, why are people still lining up?
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's take the calls. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Sir Charles. The reason why people still lining up is because not everybody could access an ATM card or credit card to do that. I can't access one. Right?
You can have a debit card and pay online, sir. You don't have to have a credit card.
Right?
You don't have to have a credit card. You just have to have a debit card.
Well, I don't.
You do not have to have a credit card. Just a regular debit card will work.
You would have to pay my bill for me like that. But so that's why I go there. Everybody can't afford that. They don't have the funding.
They don't have a debit card?
Talk about...
No, that's what he's saying. Not everybody have a debit card.
Yes, not everybody can afford it. You have to have money in the bank, and some people don't have that. So this is the reason why people still line up and use cash. Yeah, what I'm saying is, Mr. Charles, I want to raise my point, Wendell. Listen, the problem with the parking down on that side is, when you have these type of things, you're supposed to provide proper parking for these things. Now, I was across there over the weekend because I had to go and assist a friend, right? And I saw on the opposite side of the highway, there's an empty piece of land which is not utilized and it is not in use, right? They could have tried to see if they could have gotten there and allow people to park there. That is between where the bookstore is. Next to the bookstore, there's an empty piece of land there on that side, where you could have accommodated a certain amount of vehicles, so they could have tried to get the use of that.
Is it a pitch area, or is it just grass next to one stick in a hole? Is it a pitch area, or is it just...
I saw it paved, yes, it is paved, but it blocked wrong, and it is not in use. right? That is right next to the bookstore, because they had people who on Sunday were parked in the bookstore car park, right, where the bookstore is, and they took the walk over and they went across, right? So that is what you call, this is where we always have a problem in this country. They build buildings, but they don't build parking lots to accommodate the amount of people who have to go to these places. They have a car park, yes, to the back, but when that cram, that is a problem. I also had asked them to use the public restroom while I was there, and you know what the guy said to me? It is overwhelmed, but you never even put public, you know what I mean? They could have put portable toilets on the outside where people could use, right? You have very old people there, right? And some people couldn't get to use it. You know what I saw? I saw a guy had to go outside in the road against somebody's wall to urinate.
Yeah. All right. Okay,
this is something that they never think about. They need to fix.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
I don't think they're expected to be as overwhelmed as they are. It's clear that they didn't prepare for it. Yeah.
Logistically, if you're doing something that's free, there are going to be unexpected problems. And connected to that is that the TTPS could have been a little bit more proactive about it, because they should have realized, look, this is something that's going on. It's free. It's probably going to be oversubscribed. And therefore, what is going to be the parking situation on the road that's going to affect traffic? And what kind of blight can we give people? Do we need to have more police officers out in that area to help direct traffic, because there's going to be an overcapacity of parking? Because no matter how much parking you cater for in an institution, in an exceptional circumstances where you're making things free, your parking is going to be overwhelmed. And people are going to need to park somewhere.
Yeah.
And this is Trinidad and Tobago.
You now, Richard? And can hear me?
No.
If anybody wants?
Right.
I was wondering, because somebody need to pinch you or slap you or something. You just use the word TTPS and intelligence and proactive in the same sentence.
Oh Lord! Hey, maybe next time they probably better set up some.
You know what I see? You know what I observe, because I pass in that area often. Whenever the city corporation going to clean, because sometimes they have to clean those garbage bins. Sometimes there's a pile up of garbage on that. They always have a police car with the backhoe and the truck. They are always proactive. The city police are there as making sure that the trucks have access to the garbage, the backhoe, because it's not a block of a whole part of the road sometimes. Yeah, I see that. So yeah, it could happen.
It could happen. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. I hope a little record of their program, because this would be one of the few times in the history of hearing from me that I would defend the police. I'll tell you why. So Charles, I heard you on this very same program 2 days ago beg people, all you look at how this, and beg and inform people. I certainly didn't know about it, to inform me that all you look at have free cataract surgery going on, XYZ, when they'll ask where, and all they give the information of. But prior to that, nobody knew about this thing going on, as far as I'm concerned. And is all you're announcing this now, everybody start to flock to the thing. So the police, all the time, even if they were aware, there was no need for the police to pay attention to that, because nobody was going there. It's only, and I want to blame all you, if indirectly, it was only after all they make all the announcement, everybody started going down there.
Yeah, it went viral, eh?
Yes, and the situation, the police are not for the future, but they can't predict the future. They couldn't predict that all these people would have gone down there one, and people would have been so crazy to park on the lane of a highway. So just stop the vehicle there, pull aside, stop the vehicle and exit their vehicle and leave the vehicle on the road. That is not something people would, even police would imagine people would do. Right? So I would not blame the police for this situation. It's a situation that it shouldn't happen today. It shouldn't happen until the people and them leave again. But the first thing happen, I will give them a blind on that. Right? People did strange things. and the police now have to react to how people operating. So I would imagine they would put traffic wardens there now so that they can't put no parking because there's a lane for the highway. You understand? And Wendell, your justification was not accurate because where people park to pick up their children in St. Augustine, that is a shoulder.
It's still the highway.
It is a shoulder.
I said it's on a shoulder, but it's still a highway.
Lane. Yes, but you're not being genuine. You're not being honest. Where they park in St. Augustine is the shoulder of the highway. Where they park in St. James is the lane of the highway.
Yes, I said all of that too, Lincoln. Okay. I said it's a lane. I said that. Once you park there, it's a lane. You're in a lane.
Right.
I said all that.
You can't expect police to charge people for pulling over on the shoulder and feel they should not charge people for stopping on the lane of a highway. There's a charge.
No, I hear you. Listen, I was responding to the caller who said you cannot stop on the highway. You cannot park on a highway. That's all. That's the only part of it I was responding to. You there still? You gone?
Yeah. Caller, good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Wendell. Good morning, Richard.
Morning.
Om Lalla is saying some things, and I'm asking a question. What is important here is that we want to build a justice system that is efficient. I'm asking, what is the role of the youth within law school? I mean, with all our legal luminaries, well, most of them are politicians. Now, it seems to me that once you are a lawyer, you could be a politician. Most of them are politicians. But we have a system, a legal system that is suffering. I mean, I suffer with the system. My matters before the court, have been before the court 16 years. I mean, 16 years. 16 years, you have a fellow sitting waiting with matters to be heard as a businessman. You understand? And with all we have in this, all the minds that we have, legal minds that we have, nobody can come up with, look, we need to train staff in this area, in this area, in this area. I mean, how do you build a house? You have to have town country, you have to have ministry of health, you have to have engineers, you have to have the draftsman. It's a whole system. You want to tell me after all these years, nobody in Trinidad, from the Hewwood Law School, University of the West Indies, and the government, and the DTB office, and the Chief Justice, won't come up with a plan to train staff so that we can have an efficient system? I mean, what are we living by? We're driving a Viva Vauxhall in 2026. That's how it sounds.
Yes,
To build a house, you have to have money. That's all. Once you have money, you don't need none of them other things you call out there.
He says money.
It comes then that the system it's not a justice system. Because if you have to pay for justice, it is not a justice system.
Yeah.
Because a whole mall built in this country without approval, without any kind of approval, an entire mall.
Well, so we're talking about corruption then?
No, we're talking about money.
The whole mall without approval is corruption?
I don't know if it's corruption. I can't say. Once you don't have to go to a bank to get a mortgage, to get loans and so on. Nobody ever concerned about plans and approved plans and so on, you know. It's only the bank that asks for that, you know. Or the building departments of the different corporations if and when they get to you. But you know how many buildings go up without those things? Plenty, you know.
Can you use as an example of building an efficient justice system? Can you use that same thinking when you're building a justice system? You're building a system where people have to have justice.
Yeah. Bishop, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks very much. And I can understand what you are saying because just yesterday, the day before yesterday, I was asking myself that same question there. And yes, as Richard was said, there may be some things that are working now starting to look like they're working.
Mm-hmm.
But that is only a small part of the bigger part of the pie. And we have been wallowing in stupidness for too long. And I just like you, Bishop, just wonder with all the law schools, universities, all these people with so many letters to their names can't fix problems in this country. Well, then who could fix it for we? Boy, we're ready to bring down God.
No, I tell you, we are going to depart this place before a lot of these issues are fixed. We are going to depart this place. Our children may, our grandchildren may, without a lot of these issues being fixed.
And they will never fix it either. Some of them, you understand?
Yes.
If we continue with these same kind of people that we have and the way they're thinking and how we doing stuff and things. No, something definitely wrong. Mr. Billy, good morning.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call at this late hour. Just turn on and see all that's still on YouTube coming up there. I want to just comment quickly on the child thing and what's happening in Tobago, and is a bigger problem in Trinidad. I really making a client call to the authority, and the authority are speaking about is people like the children's authority and government. I am saying there are parents in this country who dropping the ball, and this is not happening now. This is happening about 20 to 50 years now. I am saying that we need to protect children from parents who is very irresponsible. It has parents who want to be involved with drugs, they want to be involved with gun king, and they're putting these young children in real danger. We have seen it playing out in Over, not too long ago. We see it play out in Belmont, and it happened before in other things. Now we're seeing it play out in Tobago now. Irresponsible parents. I'm saying the children's authority must be given more teeth, and they must have an investigative part. So when they go and they hear about these stories about parents who doing all kind of nonsense and putting these poor little toddlers in danger, I think the authority should have the authority to move on it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity in getting this off my chest.
Yeah, that issue with that missing child in Tobago, it's not the first issue we face like this, but it's very disturbing. It is very disturbing that I read a post from Renee Cummins yesterday, who of course she always makes sense, right? And she talks about the type of policing and the things you should observe, especially when it comes to situations like this. And clearly we are not doing it, you know what I mean?
Caller, good morning.
Morning, guys.
Yeah, morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Mama Stalin sing a calypso, keep the bread and run the head. Money is not the problem down here. We have management problem. That is one of we suffering for that for real time. And look, the whole country know that the health system is undermined so that people can make money. Remember when Colin Boat was the health minister, he talked about buying a piece of equipment. And a certain doctor who was heading the Doctors Association at that time, he opposed that because he's saying they had that already. But then the cost of people that won't pay to do that. And that was going on. All the systems in the government service, they always breaking down. The private sector service don't break down at all. The government service always breaking down. We as fellas in the media and all the conscious of that. And all the brave and outspoken fellas. And nobody doesn't mention that. We just comfortable. We know that the system is undermined for people to make money because all them backlog and things running slow and all them things, people deliberately undermining the system. We system can work better than that. We people need to produce more and be more efficient as of the old self, and it needs consequences for people underperforming so we can raise the standard and get better service. We know that's what's going on. Everyone already know that the system has been undermined because we can perform better than that.
Yeah.
So we need to step up,
Okay.
eat the bread and run the head.
Yeah, man. Okay.
We've spoken about it on the show for years, and he's right. We talk about the school book system. Every year they're changing some book. Even if it's one word they're changing, you gotta get a whole book again. We talk about the corruption in that.
Yeah. But thankfully, they look like they're starting to go to digital books, which we have been advocating on this program for years. For the versions of this program.
Yeah.
For years, we've been advocating why are children in Trinidad and Tobago carrying hand luggage and strollers and pulling hand luggage to go to school. Ridiculous.
Ms. Sampson, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. The eye clinic is one of the biggest clinics in San Fernando. There were people who got blind down there. I am a good example of that. They spoiled my eyes down there. People should appreciate that these people leave from where they leave to come to give it for free and go to get your little free bag with your glass to go home and stuff like that. The police could just accommodate these cars for the while. They're not here for a whole year. And the ranted raving people mightn't come back. They have done more surgeries that you get in San Fernando generally. Sometimes you're on a list for a whole year, 2 years, waiting. And when they do go in your eye, they do some nonsense. They did my surgery, they did not put in the lens. Then I get a scab on the eye. Oh, Miss Sampson, you could live with that. I had to go and fork out $30,000 to get my eye fixed, and that eye still not 100%. So thank God for these people. That is why I have a line.
Yeah.
If it was easy for me to get there, I go to get my other eye done. But the amount of people that have up there, and I have to look for somebody to call me to wait and all this nonsense. I appreciate what the people doing. Stop giving the damn tickets. You see my point?
Yeah.
Another thing, this inland revenue down there would have a next set of elderly people going to pay for the thing. It didn't have no toilet. You park up there from 4, wait until 8, then they're not coming out till 12 o'clock. They don't even have a toilet for the public. When you go to get the VIR number. The place is just a hot mess.
Okay,
just lean off. Stop talking about the cataract before the people just pack up and go and never come back, because it's very appreciated for who there, because they know how long they're on San Fernando list. Or the spin list or whatever list.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
have a be grateful.
Yeah.
So that they're providing a service is indisputable. And that's why I'm saying the TTPS should have been a little bit more proactive about the volume of people. And Mrs. Sampson is right. Because there is a need, and because it's an exceptional situation, you're going to have to make exceptional allowances for that.
Yes.
And how do you manage those exceptional allowances that are going to take place because of the situation? And that's really what it is. You just have to manage it so that commuters coming from west who have to get to work or to school are not inconvenienced, but there may be some inconvenience because of this. But they also need to understand, look, it's a service being provided. But the police also have to manage the flow of traffic and say, keep moving. And in terms of getting it done.
Richard, I always say people in Trinidad and Tobago never experience traffic until they travel. When they travel, and they can't do nothing about it. Yeah, go travel abroad and experience traffic abroad with them 6-lane highways and things. Experience and see what you can't go nowhere.
Caller, good morning. Hello. Hey. Right. Okay. Caller, good morning.
So Charles.
Hi.
I just wanted to back in here again. It was strange that I will hear Lincoln call to make that kind of thing for the police. It is highly unreasonable. What they should have done is to advise people, even if there are people parked there waiting on others, go somewhere else, if it's by the stadium or somewhere, and wait, and then come back for your people, or whatever the case may be. It is a situation that crop up suddenly. that the hospital he wasn't even thinking it would have been so overwhelmed. And that I don't think they were the ones that now will have to put all that parking business in place. That's where the police service comes in. And knowing that is a service and people go in there because they don't even have money to pay the outside doctors for that surgery. So far less they have to come to pay a ticket now. And people come from far and wide. So it's not your station, Lincoln say, that put it out there. Not at all. Everybody been networking about this, and I hear other radio stations talk about it.
I think he meant that literally. I think he meant that.
Excuse me, it is the station that caused all of the bacchanal. It is the station. When you come in, we caused that bacchanal.
Yes.
What name? Sir Charles.
You understand? We take away peps.
When the TTPS and the authorities come looking, what the hell is all this? Who the Charles Davis is his name? He calls it.
Don't blame it on Facebook and social media and the mother station. No, it's a breakfast show.
Exactly.
all I do could do my bacchanal. Somebody do my bacchanal the other day. They tag me on this stupid post on Facebook where it was circulating as me as somebody advisor. And they tag me. Now everybody posting it there, but the first time somebody tagged me, I said, please do not untag me on this blatant lie, please. The person inboxed me and apologized and said, Wendell, I didn't just untag you, I deleted the post. My apologies. Because people just go with a lie. But this is not a lie, folks. Charles Davis is one who caused all that bacchanal dog on the highway for the Adventist Hospital. He is helping thousands of people today get free cataract surgery. Bacchanal, ticket too.
And by extension, the breakfast show, because it's only the day after the announcement that bacchanal happened.
All that bacchanal.
He would have fast self to say, oh, it wasn't us.
Yes.
What was he now?
Yeah. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning. Zina, it's not that I am defending the police in terms of predicting that I want to make 2 points, Sir Charles, so please don't cut back after finish the first one.
Go ahead.
All I'm saying is that the police couldn't predict that amount of traffic would happen because the 2 days prior, there was nobody there. This was a testimony on your program, right? No. Should they have ticketed people? No, I don't agree with that. Police should have gone, and to all your point that they should just drop off people. Remember, the people who are going there, most of them are elderly with sight vision, with vision problems. So they would need aid. When they don't park up, I bring down my granny or my auntie. They would need an assistant to help them to go up to the facility, find the right place, put them in line, whatever the case may be. And then after that, they would need help coming back out because they now finished the surgery. So the idea of just dropping them off is not real. It's not based in reality. No. Could I park, go and drop them, come back to my vehicle, move my vehicle, and then when they call and then I come back, go up in the vehicle and come back down? Yes. Should the police have taken these people who go in for medical treatment? No. A bit of compassion, a bit of leniency could have been extended. Go out, go inside with a bullhorn. Ladies and gentlemen, all the vehicles that know they park on the road there, you have 5 minutes to move your vehicle or you'll be wrecked or ticketed, whatever. You understand? Because you're dealing with people who go in for medical help.
Exactly.
Once in a lifetime.
That's the point home made too. There's not distinct dirty fat or something or thing. Come on.
Yes. Right?
The second point.
The other point I would like to mention is something Mr. Om Lalla said. And it is frightening when you think about it. I mean, I know the context in which he said it, but it is scary. I don't know if people miss what he said. He said, and I want to paraphrase, I'm not quoting him exactly, but basically what he said is, thank God the detection rate for crimes in Trinidad and Tobago is so low that because if it was higher, it would have overwhelmed the justice system. I don't know if anybody understands what he said.
We hear that.
Iman is saying all the murders and criminals good thing they get away because if they were charged, we would not be able to come to the justice system would not be able to accommodate all all these offenses.
The system would
That is a scary thought. That is a frightening thought. I don't know if that went over people's head. I don't listen to these fine things that people are saying. That is scary. Right? So that's the 2 points I wanted to bring up this morning. Have a good day, gentlemen. Thank you very much for your program. And thank you very much for allowing me this contribution.
All right, no problem. Thanks for that. Let's see if we can probably take one more. Hold on 1 minute. I'll just call in the line. I have this song. Let's call in Q. Press the song. You'll be the final caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
One of the things I like to do is listen and try and look at our situation and compare it with other situations. And I always like to say that human behavior is not different across the world. Wendell said something about traffic. He said if you travel and you see traffic, then you will recognize that the complaints we have here in respect to traffic is what they have in all major cities, basically. Now, I would put it this way, just how the Buddhists still tell you. They say when you're in traffic, just be patient, because traffic is a fact of life. Now, all we're talking about health and we're criticizing. I would like to look at the NHS system in Britain and the health insurance system in the States. Now, we will praise them at times and say, oh, they have all these services and all this technology. But that is at the top end. At the bottom end, they still have tens of thousands of people in the queue waiting. And as in the States, they have millions of people who, if they get a catastrophic illness, it basically could corrupt them for life. So that some of the same problems we have here, they have in other places. Yes, we need to manage them, but we mustn't look at them as though they are unique to Trinidad and Tobago, because that's the kind of tone that we come over with, not recognizing that we need to address them with some simple management issues. Even the judicial system is very unequal in many parts of the world that we might praise and say, look how fast somebody will get tried. But that is those who get tried fast. What about those who on the other end who are having problems? If you look at immigration and we say, hey, we have corruption here, people could pay to get a passport. Look at the immigration system in the US and look at the immigration system in Great Britain, where you have for the last 10 years, 200,000 people entering illegally and living in hotels provided by the state and that sort of thing. So anywhere you look, you will see those kind of issues. So that my thing is, we mustn't look at them as though they're so catastrophic and they cannot be resolved or mitigated. I would end by saying this. Wendell made a comment also, and he said, a lot of these problems that we have here now, we will leave here before they are resolved. I will say it differently. We wouldn't resolve them. We might shift the goalposts and we might mitigate them to some extent. But human behavior is as it is across the world. We always have some problems, but we mustn't look at them as though they're unmanageable then and cry down.
Insurmountable.
Sometimes we must look for solutions and try to resolve them or mitigate the situation as best we can. Look at the situation with the cataract. Generally, if it was managed better, and we have another week or so of it, if the police look at things differently, you might find a no order come and we move on, rather than...
What I hope, Princess, what I hope doesn't happen is that people are now apprehensive. They don't want to go because of what the circumstances that they will meet. I really hope that they get through with that 4,000 that they want to do, and as quickly as possible, and that people benefit from the operations. That's what I hope for.
And I also hope that they will come back at some point in time very shortly and come and do some more.
Yeah.
I think the ministry should invite them back, or invite them back next 2 months or something now and do some more. Help to clear up that backlog that you all have in the public system. Yeah. Because, I go to the eye clinic in St. James, Wendell, and the day that, I don't have to go every week or anything like that, right? But I think I was talking to our nurse there, because the day I went, it had like about, in that normal clinic, and on that Thursday, it had like about 400 people. And I asked him, I know those 400 people ain't coming back every day. And she is telling me that every day they see that amount of people.
Wow.
Whether it's just to check on your eyes, to make recommendations, to get medication, to see how your treatment is going. Those, man, so that alone is to tell you how many people, and this is just St. James I'm talking about. You know, so.
But how come you never run over in Rumbox while you're waiting? You know, many people who go to the hospital, they end up across the road in Rumbox. Sometimes they walk in and say, hey.
That helping them go back in the hospital again.
It's helping them relax while they're waiting on somebody.
Problem with people going back to the hospital.
No, I'm talking about people who waiting on somebody. They come across, hey, we didn't know this place here.
Oh, you get away.
Well, now you know.
Now you know. Hey, you see that program? If you didn't know, now you know. My God, sometimes those episodes are hilarious. Hilarious. You understand? The other day, a man. Anyway, I think I shared that in the chat, right?
Which chat you share it in? T or?
I think it's Tea Room. Because sometimes Corey does need to see these things now.
Yeah,
you know,
is the more risque kind of.
Yeah. It had one recently. In the Tea, I think it's in the Tea Room chat with Adonai. Anyway,
zeros, all zeros, Wendell. Come on, let's go.
The Tea Room is TPMA. That's what the Tea Room is. But your audiences only.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we have not congratulated him, but we will officially call him and have a quick of Anderson Mahes, that's Galen's son, who's been selected for the Antigua Falcons team in CPL. You understand?
That's good news, Galen. Congrats.
Yeah, we will do that as a good news one of these mornings. We will speak to him live. That's the best way. Right?
Yeah.
Folks, have a wonderful day. Remember to let go and let God.
All right. And of course, you can listen to netradiott.com across all devices to continue listening to the excellent programming throughout the day. And of course, Net Radio Trinidad on smart devices like, Alexa or Google or Siri, whoever it is that you listen to. You can tell them play Net Radio Trinidad on TuneIn and you're good to go. Of course, we know you have a choice in what you listen to, and we're glad that you choose us to spend your morning with, or your evening, or your afternoon, or your night, wherever you are on planet Earth. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you zoning in on us, coming to you live out of Trinidad and Tobago, whether you are Trinidadian and Tobagonian or not. We appreciate your presence. Of course, just reminding you that theatre will be on next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Scandal in Cedrus is on at Cipriani College. We're excited to be back after a little break I think the actors needed. So we're back on from next week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Cipriani College. Tickets are on sale now at all the usual outlets, K-Square Fashions, West Mall, Eastgate, and Brentwood Mall in Chagonis, Jubilee Rawi in Tunapuna, Alextronics in Arima, Anthony's Florals in Valbach Shopping Plaza, and the Shafley Auto Services. You can get tickets everywhere, and tickets are already selling. I'm letting you know. Tickets are already selling at all outlets, as well as online. And of course, the methodology to purchase tickets online, you can go to RSRR Productions Theatre on social media, whether it be Insta, TikTok, or Facebook. Of course, I'm keeping you apprised that we will be launching our website later on this week. And I'll keep you apprised of that when that has been launched. We're very excited about it. Taking it, to a different level in terms of our interaction with members of the public. All right, so have a fantastic day. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health, and it's Tuesday morning. So have a great day, whatever you do.
Bye-bye.
Yep, and you have been watching
The Breakfast Show.
Get up. Get up, it's the time to start the day. The Breakfast Show is here. We bring in the soca way. Yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes.